put it on my tab. I'm gonna buy it for you. I was like, no, you don't have to do this.
Yo. This is DPS podcast. That is Damage Per Second podcast, episode 231, and we are late on a sassy Saturday night. I don't know where sassy come from. I don't know. Look, it's Saturday, and
exhausting.
Sorry,
Saturday
we're a couple days late. It definitely exhausting, and we're a little later than we anticipated, but we're gonna have a very fun show nonetheless. I am here, SloMoBackSlap, with my co-host, Mr. Gaming Forte. What's up, Forte?
What is up, man? It's been a good week. It's been a great. Well, actually, you know what? It's been a good week in general until I played my. Man, I was talking so much mess to my wife for Mario Kart. So much.
Oh, she whooped you?
Bro, let me tell you. See, this is all the transparency side of Forte. You know, always being honest here.
You know, I'm gonna have to say this, Forte, and I hate to say it, but it seems like you're the worst gamer in your family. Your daughter out here bodying games. Your wife bodying you in Mario Kart. I know. I mean,
no. Listen, it was the okie doke. It was the okie doke on this one. I was playing, so I unlocked the first two cups in Mario Kart. Got gold, got everything, unlocked everything, and then I went back to work because I had the weekend off, so I played a lot, and then did a lot of the free roaming stuff and just learned the game more, which is nothing really to learn. Is Mario Kart. If you play Mario Kart Deluxe 8, you know how to play Mario Kart. So I call myself, and I'm talking mad jump to her. She was racing at 100cc. I'm like, I came out the gate, 150cc. Let's go. Who plays at anything lower than 150cc? She was practicing at 100cc. I'm like, okay, whatever. You're going to get whooped anyway, so whatever. So 2 days ago, she was like, okay, it's time for you to get your butt whooping. I was like, in what? Mario Kart? Oh, I said, okay, let me go get the dock from the basement because the dock was downstairs. I'm going to bring it upstairs and we're going to do this. My oldest daughter got into it. We did 3. My youngest daughter was asleep because she had did spring band training and stuff. So she was like knocked out to the world. It's like 10 o'clock at night. So I'm sitting there like, okay, let's get this. Let me tell you, bro. I knew I was cooked as soon as I turned the game on and hit the button to look at the cups. Like I told you, I unlocked the first 2 cups, everything. I logged into this game and I saw all the rest of the cups were done, like gold on everything, 150cc on everything. I'm like, what is going on? I said, Kayla, did you play the game since I unlocked the first 2 cups? She said, no, I haven't played. This is my first time playing. And then I looked at my wife. I said, you dirty person, you. I was like, you.
Are you sure those are the words you said?
Yeah, it is what I said. I wanted to say more, but I had to be.
Yeah, it sounded like you were giving us the PG-13 version of that conversation. But go ahead.
I can't say. Listen, the only one that can say the word "b" to my wife is her best for her friends. I can't use that word. When they say it, it's like, when they say, yo, you gonna be this, be that. I'm like, that's an endearing thing that was built over, strenuous years of being a child and growing up and loving each other to death. Me, I'm just her husband. I can't say that to her. She look at me like I'm freaking crazy. So no, I didn't use that word with her. I just told her, you suck. And then she proceeded to
make you look like you suck.
Bro, she finished
by beating
first.
You.
Bro, she finished first. I finished 4th. It wasn't even close in points. So I called myself, you know what? Screw it. Let's do the Rainbow Cup. Let's do the Rainbow Cup. We do the Rainbow Cup for the second one. I'm destroying her in the first 2 rounds. I'm like, she got stuck. You know how in Mario Kart, you get stuck back in the back. It's a rough time. You don't want to get stuck with the riffraff in the back because everything that's happening back there, you're getting hit with a shell, you're getting hit with banana peels, everything's going on in the back. So you want to stay up front as much as possible. So I'm coasting. First round, first race, first place. She was in 12th place. I'm like, see, I told you that was a fluke that you beat me that time. Bro, second race, second place. She finished in 6th place. Then I got what I deserved. The third race, they they bodied me. Like the computer was bodying me. I finished in.
Oh, it's the computer's fault.
No, dude, no. You notice it lets you don't play Mario Kart. If you get stuck in the back, it is over. Don't get stuck back there because there is no coming back, especially if you're already halfway through the race. You might as well call it quits. They're not going to let you get out of the teens or no higher than 8. So I got stuck in 12th place or 13th place. She finished first. She jumped me in the standings going into Rainbow Road. And Rainbow Road is she already had played the new Rainbow Road. I didn't play it yet. So she kind of knew what was going on and I didn't, but I still got to give her a props, bro. Cause I was talking mad junk to her. And she just looked at me, was like, this is what happens when real gamers pick up controllers.
Oh. She hit you with one of those, huh?
No, she was emboldened, and she was like, "This is what happens when a real gamer picks up a controller."
So Forte, she's insinuating you're not a real gamer.
Listen, not when it comes to Mario Kart. That's exactly what she said. She said real gamers don't talk. She said real. I was like, what do you mean by that? She was like, real gamers don't talk about what they're going to do. They talk about what they already did. And I was like, no, you are a piece of
That's
shit.
A bar.
Yeah,
okay,
that was a bar. No, I did. No, that was a bar. I ain't gonna lie.
You get one.
Yeah, literally, that was literally a bar. I was like, I'm gonna give you that one because that was a bar that I didn't expect to come out of your mouth. But I ain't gonna lie, we gonna do that again because that was super fun, man. Because
but you need to get your pride back.
Oh yeah, I gotta get my pride back.
Because you're the third best gamer in the family.
Yeah,
just letting you know. You're number 3. You're the bronze.
That's fine. Well, that's just because of Mario Kart. I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm through talking junk.
You don't say that because then if she come downstairs, she going you don't want that. It's like Debo coming.
Well, speaking of which, she said, I told her, when you coming on the podcast, she said, when you want me on the podcast, I said, well, I want you on the podcast when there's something that I know you're going to be excited for and happy to talk about. So my wife has already, and I haven't even talked to SloMo about this, but I knew he'd be okay with it. My wife has booked the episode. It is a year from now when Grand Theft Auto releases because she got smoked for that game. If that game ain't perfect when it comes out, because she mad that they delayed. That's her favorite franchise of all time. So she's like, if that game's not she said if this game, because I told her when she watched the trailer, she was looking at the trailer like all disappointed because of all the great things in it, but then she was just pissed that it was being delayed. And she's like, if this game comes out and it even has a little bit of slowdown in it, I'm literally going to lose my mind about this. So I said, well, you need to come on DPS to talk about that, about your experiences at Grand Theft Auto. She said, oh yeah, it's a date. So she said she will be here the first episode after GTA releases, and she will have some, she said she will either be praising it or she will have the most spiciest take you've ever heard a female have about Grand Theft Auto that loves the franchise than ever before. So I'm looking forward to
I am here for it. I'll be carrying pom-poms, whether it is shade or if it is praise. I'll be in the background, go with the ad libs. I know that's right. You know how it is.
Yeah, but other than that. Yeah, but other than that, man, just working. Did a little bit more Expedition 33, which is amazing. Shout out to the Jumbotron. But played a little bit more of that.
That's not on the Jumbotron right now.
Oh, you know what? That's not the Jumbotron. What is this?
I'm gonna talk about what this is.
I'm just so used to fast-paced games, and I just glanced at it. I thought this because that's all you were playing for a while. So. Yeah, this isn't. Yeah. This is what the hell is this? We'll talk about it. But outside of that, man, just working a lot, and then went to go see my aunt today. So I'm kind of glad that we had to push it back because it gave me like another 30-40 minutes to hang out with my aunt because her birthday's tomorrow and she had a birthday party. Nice. So I stopped over there. I stopped over there after work and told her I'll stop by before I had to do the podcast. So I hung out with them for like a couple hours and. That was fun. That's the one that I went to go see Mission Impossible. That's my movie buddy. So that was cool. Yeah. So got a chance got a chance to hang out with the family a little bit today, and outside of that, man, it's been a really good week, man. Switch to all that conversation. Oh, I was telling you the story. Customer bought me a 24-inch plushie today, and I almost cried. Grown man cried when he got a plushie. It was pretty emotional. I ain't gonna lie, pretty emotional, because people don't usually do nice things for other people like that. And I was gonna post it on Twitter, like a picture. And anybody know it's a Charizard plushie, 24-inch one. Pause. But yeah, but people don't realize. Yeah, but people 24-inch one, pause. But people don't realize, like, how much people really appreciate you. And you just kind of just like not laugh it off, but kind of just, it's just what I do. It's like I always try to go to back for people that I know, especially at work. It's already rough out here when it comes to certain things. So I look out for people whenever I can. And, it's people don't have to do what they do, but when people decide to do it, it's like one of those things that just humbles you to your core. And, I was telling you, the guy came in, he was with his wife. He was switching out his Oculus 2 for an Oculus 3 because he had a warranty because they don't do the 2 anymore. So I was switching it out, and I had the Charizard plush behind me on the counter, and he was like, "Hey, how much is that?" I was like, "What, that beautiful piece of foam and everything?" He said, "Yeah." I was like, $54. I said, "You can't have it. It's mine. I'm coming to get this next week on Wednesday. It's my birthday gift to myself." He was like, "Oh, when was your birthday?" I said, "Oh, it was May 20th." And he was like, "Oh, cool." And then I was ringing him up, him and his wife, and getting the warranty on other stuff. And he made a comment about, he said, "Well, since you won't let me buy the Charizard plush, and I understand it's for your birthday." I said, "Yeah, man, no, you can't have that." I said, "I'll try to find you one in another store if you want one. This one's mine. It's going nowhere." And his wife was cracking up. And then he was like, "You know what? I'll do even one better. Put it on the transaction." I said, "Why? It's mine." He was like, "It is going to be yours. I'm buying it for you. Happy birthday." I was like, "No way." And he was like, "No, man." He said, "You look out for us all the time." And I literally almost had a moment right there. And it wasn't just because he was buying it. It was just because
I'm about to have a moment.
What? It was like, he said, "I'm buying." And I was like, and Maurice was standing, and I always talk, my associates always tell me, because I always tell people, I was like, "I'm not that important." I said, "You guys make my job easy and all this other stuff," because they do. Without them, my job wouldn't be as easy as it is, and I would have probably been left GameStop if it wasn't for the people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis. But they keep me on level ground. And when the guy said that, my associate looked at me, Maurice was like, he's like, "Yo, that's why people tell you that you mean as much." He said, "When I tell you that you are the heart of this place and why people really, truly rock with you." And I was like, he said, "That's why." And I was just sitting there holding the plushie, like I was holding, like I was hugging it. I was like,
"Oh man, literally, you don't want to say that, bro. You don't want to say you was the chat's already saying you and that plushie got some extramarital affairs going on, and you saying you were caressing and holding the plushie, intimately. That's a little much,
DPS don't have cameras right now. At some point in the future, we'll be camera.
Hey.
We don't have cameras right now. No, listen, be quiet.
I do have an imagination though. So please don't put images in my head.
Listen, DPS don't have cameras right now.
I don't want to know what you're doing with that plushie right now.
Tomorrow, no, he's wrapped in I'm about to Jesus.
What?
He's still wrapped. He's still wrapped in the plastic that I bought him. He came, like, when you get them in a box, they come in a box of 2, and they were both wrapped in plastic. So I never took it out of the plastic, so it's still in it. But tomorrow, I would debut him and show him off today, but we don't have cameras here, and I haven't come up with the voice that I want to use yet. So at some point today, or probably early tomorrow, I got to figure out what's.
It's got to be like a deep voice.
It's gotta be. That's what I'm saying. It's gotta be like a deep,
it's gotta be like
voice.
Out of left field. He gotta sound like a a Leroy or something. You know, he got to sound like completely like that's Charizard, really? Like that's
right.
You figure it out.
Yeah, I'll figure it out. But yeah, he'll you know, Yoshi's going on vacation for a week. Actually, he'll be there just to like, you know, formally announce, you know, shout out to the Iron Lords. You know, tomorrow's episode is most likely going to be about the Game Award, not the Game Awards, about the Xbox Showcase, because this is their first live stream since they've been back. But, you know, Yoshi going to be messy because he's going to come in and he's going to do the introduction and tell everybody, like, congratulations to Xbox for having a great show, but we're not going to act like, you know, Nintendo wasn't the star of the show last week. And he's going to have that conversation and talking about how I want to introduce a brand new guest to you guys. And he has a game that's coming out at the end of the year called Pokemon ZA. And it is no other than the homeboy, the flying banshee of Charizard. And then all of a sudden he's going to come on camera with his deep voice and everybody is going to be like, wow. But that's for tomorrow. But SloMo, I missed you, bro. The fact I was super excited for this show. When you said it, I was like, oh my God, we're doing okay, 9:30. I as you can tell, I already had like 2 or 3 coffees today. It's kind of bad.
It's all good, man. It's all good.
But that's kind of what I've been doing today. But yeah, I literally did get emotional a little because people don't have to do their things they do. But I always tell people, if you're nice to people, people will be nice to you, and sometimes they'll be overly nice to you, and that's what it all really means in the end, you know. So I appreciate, you know, things like that.
Cool. As for myself, the game that has got a little bit of attention on the Jumbotron right now is called Morbid Metal. And this is a demo, actually. The game doesn't come out until, I think, August. I think I gotta double check that. It comes out in a couple of months, I believe. But it's a day one for me because this game is fantastic, yo. This game is so good. It's a hack and slash roguelite. And it's you can switch characters on the fly. You kind of like link up with other metal beings. I don't know. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I was not paying attention to the story, but it's got like a very much like a Chinese kind of like aesthetic to it. The characters kind of have that look to them as well. But maybe Japanese. Maybe Japanese is more the aesthetic, but like the environment seems to be like a mix of like future technology, but also that same kind of like Japanese architecture. And the combat is just amazing. Like when you, I mean, I gotta admit, I was doing a little ore farming. You know, it was just sometimes you just kind of wait for an enemy about to attack, then you hit the perfect dodge to do where it's like your body like turns the energy and you split out in 4 different directions, then come back. I mean, it's just a great effect. And this is all made by a really small developer. I forgot their name. Let me I want to give them their proper respect. So I'm gonna get their name in a second. But the cool thing about it is that they are actually being published by Ubisoft, and I think this might be considering because it's only on PC. It's not coming to consoles at all, which is a very un-Ubisoft kind of thing. So I wonder if this is more along the lines of, this is kind of like, you know how EA does EA Originals, where they're paying for the cost of the game, but like a large number of the profit, the revenue generated off of the sale of the game still goes to that developer. I think that's essentially what's happening here with this game, because it's just like Ubisoft normally will put the game everywhere, and this is a really cool game, but it's definitely a small budget kind of game, and it's only coming to PC. It's only on Steam. The demo's available right now. You can go on there and check it out. It's freaking amazing. Get me why can't I find anything? What is going on with my timeline? There it is. Okay. The name of the developer is Screen Juice. I don't know why it's called that, but Screen Juice is the name of the dev, and the game is, I was right, August 20th is when it comes out. Kind of a busy time period, but that's definitely its release date. And if you want to check out the demo, so it's kind of a short demo, but it's good. And I haven't uninstalled it yet. I'm probably going to play through it again a few more times before I finally just uninstall it and wait. But wishlist the game if you're looking out for it. Okay, let's see. What else was I playing? I also played. I'll show this, and this didn't get as much praise from me as Morbid Metal did, but I'm a big fan of solo leveling, and I've been waiting. The game, the solo leveling Arise is what this demo currently is for, and that one has been on mobile since maybe like the beginning of the year, or maybe last year. Actually, I think it was last year it came out to mobile, and the PC release took a while, and I figured, okay, all right, well, I've seen games that are dual PC and mobile release, and really like mobile is the lead platform, and so the PC version is just basically a blown up version of the mobile version of the game, which means it's really doing nothing, and it kind of sucks, right? I'm shocked that after all the time it took them to get this PC version ready, it's still pretty much plays like a mobile game, and I'm really disappointed with that. Like, it's like the combat's okay, but just like really stiff animations, really stiff movement. It's the game design. I still expected the game design to be what it is, because it essentially is a mobile game, but I just thought that they would do a little bit more for the PC version. It also was ridiculously unoptimized, which shocked me, because like I have a 4080 Super, and it's just it runs terribly. I was really shocked by that. I'm not going to pass judgment on it, because this is just a demo, and even with Morbid Metal, I felt Morbid Metal ran a little heavy as well. That one's also unoptimized and doesn't use any upscaling whatsoever, which I expect they probably will add upscalers to Morbid Metal as they get closer to launch. But yeah, the solo leveling Arise, I was expecting more. It's just that's what it is. And what else here? The Altars, which is on Game Pass, and a lot of people have been talking about it. It just released yesterday. I have it installed. I haven't played it yet. I want to play that. I didn't get a chance to play it today. I would have had some footage and some feedback on that, but by next show, I'll be able to talk about the Altars and my thoughts on that. And also, I spent in the past week, I spent an entire day of my free time playing Splitgate 2. Haven't tried the Battle Royale yet, but I want to do that in a party. I want to do that with some people so we can actually like coordinate and like I'll play Fortnite solo if I want, but like Fortnite's easy as far as I'm concerned. Splitgate, people who say Splitgate is easy are people who play Splitgate for like 3 matches and then they stop playing it. Because when that skill-based matchmaking goes, oh, so you're pretty good, huh? Puts you in a different category, you'd be like, oh, okay, so I'm here. I am with the demon night crawlers now, because everyone's teleporting all over the place, teleporting behind you. I'm real rusty at Splitgate. I'm playing it really like Call of Duty, which is not good. But like my first match, I had like 81 kills my first match. And I was like, yeah, they definitely about to put me with the demons after this. Which it took about maybe about 4 or 5 matches, but then I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a full stack right there. Like I did nothing but the arena stuff, the 4v4, and I'm enjoying it. I got the battle pass. I like the changes they made with the factions. I'll get more into it later because Splitgate 2 is a topic. But yeah. I like it. I think the people that are being a bit harsh on it are either people who haven't played it, or they went into it intending to be critical due to some of the controversy that's been going on surrounding the game, which we'll get into later. Last thing, my Steam Deck OLED came in. I've been messing around with Expedition 33 on it, which runs terribly on it. It's terrible on it. It's not. Yeah, it don't run great on a Steam Deck. But also been playing more Dark Deity 2, and that runs great on it. It being a top-down strategy RPG, not really heavy at all. Runs very, like, doesn't drop a single frame. And that's kind of what I want to play, the kind of games I want to play on it. I want to play the kind of games that RPGs, games that aren't like super competitive, because I never find handhelds all that comfortable to play in a competitive setting. I always say that, like, to be really good at multiplayer games, competitive multiplayer games, it's about comfort, about just not thinking, then reacting, just reacting, and using, like, not having to think about the inputs, because you already got to think about a bunch of other things like strategy, flanking enemies, like teaming up, waiting to get your teammates to respawn and attacking, all the kind of stuff you think about when you're playing a multiplayer game and you're playing a PvP game. You don't want to be thinking about, am I hitting the right buttons? At the end, where's the trigger? Where's the bumper? Which fingers on the back should I be using for the back? But it's just like, you don't want to be thinking about none of that stuff. And I know that takes time to build up that muscle memory, but I just don't. I ain't got the patience for it, especially for handhelds. I'm just gonna play the game, my cool single player games on it, and leave it at that. I did try a little bit of it docked on my OLED and my OLED TV, that is, and yeah, it's fine. It's just I've had a Steam Deck before, so it's nothing that I wasn't already familiar with, and I'm enjoying it so far, so that's good. I do need to try GeForce Now. I installed the GeForce Now app, but I haven't tried it on it yet, so I'll try that probably tomorrow if I have time, something like that. But you ready to get into these topics, man?
Absolutely.
All right. Let me find the soundboard. And where are we at? Let's get it going.
Really?
First rapid fire topic: The Expanse Osiris Reborn. Forte, have you seen this trailer?
I haven't. It looked freaking incredible.
Oh my god!
It looks so good. And The Expanse is a good show too.
I was about to say that. First of all, The Expanse is an amazing underrated TV show.
Yeah.
Don't even get me started.
Yeah,
that show, I have to do a rewatch of the series because it's amazing. I've been saying that for a minute. I need to just stop watching other things and just rewatch the whole series from beginning to end because it's amazing. I freaking love The Expanse.
Yeah.
And then they had that great Telltale game a couple years ago that was awesome. And now we got The Expanse Osiris Reborn being made by Owlcat Games. This trailer was shown over the past week. Looks freaking amazing. Story wise and with the cutscenes and the team dynamic stuff, it gives me a lot of Mass Effect vibes. I don't know if it does that for you. Gameplay wise, I see a lot of elements of the Division If you look at like some of the classes, when they show them in combat, a lot of it's cutscene stuff, but you see the dude pull out the shield, shooting through the shield with the pistol. Other guys got drones he's sending out and stuff. The other girls like, doing stealth stuff. You can see the team composition, and you can also kind of see how you could build classes with it. But the trailer was amazing. They showed a little bit of gameplay. The gameplay looked good for what it was, and I'm really excited for what that could potentially end up being. Forte, what were your thoughts on that?
Yeah, pretty much all of the same things you said. But then the first thing that came to my mind is, when is this game coming out? And then it said 2026. I was like, dang. I was like, that's definitely in my wheelhouse with the whole sci-fi aspect that I love the most. And I did get those same vibes that you were talking about, but it just looks so good, bro. I was like, oh, this looks so good. And then just the premise of being, with the advanced ship and all the maneuverability and being able to, like, they kind of really portrayed what the Expanse was in a 1.5-minute trailer.
Right.
And they actually kind of even hit at the suspense of the show. And I was like, yeah, this is it. And I instantly started, like you said, it gave me that vibe to want to go back and, watch the from beginning to end again because of exactly that. So the cool thing is we got, it doesn't come out to 2026, so we got a good amount of time to do that.
Right.
I think I might do it closer, like once I find out what the release date is, or maybe I'll just watch a couple episodes here and there, because I do have the bug after seeing that trailer that made me want to go back and watch it again. But I think I'll like slow play it, and then when I hear the date that they're coming up with, then I'll just fast forward and like blur through it so I can like be 100%, because I don't know what the tie-in is going to be. We know there's going to be some type of tie-in,
right,
and it just really comes down to the execution of that. But at least when it came to like the tech and the overall look of the game, I was like, yeah, that was official. So, and that was the game that caught my eye the most when I was watching that on watching it on my computer.
Yeah, that thing looks dope. I can't wait. Yeah. I can't wait to play it. It's it's unfortunate it's not coming out till next year, but we got a lot of Fire games coming up, so it's not that big a deal, I don't think.
Yep, we got Fire handheld. Okay. Some people.
And now it's time for some slander. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, really?
Nintendo, I got some smoke for you. Okay. So Nintendo has come out, and a lot of people are praising this, but I'm just kind of looking at it sideways. They are going to replace drifting Joy-Cons for free.
As they always did.
For free. Oh, that's so sweet. You know what you could have done to not avoid having to replace drifting Joy-Cons? Not have drifting Joy-Cons. Have Hall effect thumbsticks. And that way, we wouldn't even have this problem. Do you know what you have to do, Forte, in order to get your drifting Joy-Cons replaced?
No, tell me, what do you have to do, son?
There is a 2-week turnaround time.
Yep.
And then once they get it, they can still claim there was nothing wrong with your Joy-Con and not send you free replacements.
Mm-hmm.
And what could you say when they already have your Joy-Cons?
That's true.
No, they were drifting when I had them. Oh, okay. Show me. Oh, wait, you can't, because I have your Joy-Cons. This is some BS. And they know that most people, once they realize they gotta wait 2 weeks to get some Joy-Cons back, and then they can't play their Switch with the Joy-Cons handheld for 2 weeks. Oh, well, I gotta have a Switch Pro 2 controller, which, some people will have, but not everyone. Or I gotta get some other controller. Well, hey, that's spending more money for Nintendo. Good W for them.
W.
Or you're going to do what most people are going to do, which is they realize they got to wait 2 weeks to get these free Joy-Cons back. They're going to buy some new Joy-Cons anyway, so they can keep playing, which more money for Nintendo. W. This is why they didn't do Hall effect thumbsticks. Because they can't monetize their faulty hardware on you over and over again. It's freaking ridiculous. Forte, any thoughts on this?
You listen, you can't. We all knew that this was a thing when they didn't have Hall effect thumbsticks, and even Hall effect thumbsticks doesn't fix the problem entirely. I mean, just come out with better.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed that to not have stick drift. It's just really hard to get stick drift with Hall effect thumbsticks.
Yeah. So I guess my take really is shame on Nintendo for doing that. And they are not even they are like taking advantage of their player base to, the extent that they know that people are just not going to want to wait 2 weeks to do something like that. Or they're going to take the path of least resistance where they can just walk into a store and buy new ones. And Nintendo's fine with that too. Or what they'll do is they'll buy new ones, then send in their broke ones, and then they'll just have an extra set when they get them back.
Which is what most people would do, but this still ends up with Nintendo getting more money out of you for was it $90? I think more than that now. $95.
$95 plus tax.
Nearly $100 more out of you.
Yep.
For their faulty hardware that they didn't have to do. Hall effect isn't even expensive now. There's like $30 controllers that you can use on PC that have Hall effect thumbsticks.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is not even like, they can't say, "Oh, it's so expensive." No, it's not. You're just scummy. Anyway, since we're on Nintendo, the Switch 2 is the fastest selling console ever, with over 3 million units sold worldwide in its first 4 days. First 4 days. And according to Circana and Matt Piscatella of Circana, 1.1 million of that 3 million were sold in the US alone, which beats the record for the PlayStation 4. And did so in 3 days, where it took the PS4 3 weeks to reach this amount of sales. So that's it's pretty amazing. I heard a little rumor that consoles were stagnant, that the market was regressing or dying or something like that. Jeez, I guess there's nothing wrong with the console market. I don't know. Maybe they just need new hardware. Anyway, Mario Kart World also has a 79% attach rate to the Switch 2. So, I mean, not as great as Breath of the Wild did, but very good nonetheless. So, Forte, what are your thoughts on all the financial success of greedy Nintendo?
Congratulations, Nintendo. Or you know what? Hold on.
Here we go.
Forte needed a drink of water. I would like to say, as one of the ambassadors of the Nintendo platform, me, Yoshi of Sound Mind and Body, want to congratulate them. Sound Mind and Body. Want to congratulate. You never know. They might come for me. You never know. For me congratulating on a platform that's not, a treehouse. So they might come for you.
Hey, they might come for us too. Shoot.
Right, they might come for us too. But I will say this.
So that we understand that, so Nintendo, this Yoshi is a Yoshi with an E at the end, not an I. Is Yoshi. YOSH-E. No I. E. No so, and he's so go ahead, Yoshi. Yoshi. Go ahead, Yoshi.
Yoshi. But I do want to say, as one of the ambassadors of the, Nintendo Entertainment or international, I should say. You know, I gotta get it right. You know, it's not just Nintendo of Japan anymore. We killed it. We laid a foundation that every, you know, platform holder should do in the future. There's no reason to hold hardware back and have it come out in waves. We made sure the market was saturated with our product, and the people went out in force to be able to pick up that product. The fact that you were still able to walk into a Target, you know, speaking of which, Target, that's the place that has the dog, like Bullseye, right? Isn't his name Bullseye? The little pit bull, something like that. Okay, they need a new mascot. But, you know, with that being said, you were able to walk into a place like that a day after release and still pick up a Switch 2 midway through the day. So Nintendo led by example of what these platform holders need to do in the future to make sure that their patrons are able to pick up the product as they wish. But I'm not going to hold it up. Forte needs to say some more of the stuff, and I just wanted to say hi to you guys and appreciate all the love and support. Yoshi out. See you guys next time.
Thanks, Yoshi. But as always, bro, Nintendo's gonna do Nintendo things. They're gonna do one thing. They're gonna do is they're gonna raise prices of Joy-Cons and all the ancillary products, like all the accessories, and charge you $100, $200. I take that back. They're gonna charge you $200 for a micro express 1 terabyte hard drive or SSD or whatever. What are they called? Micro express card. That's what micro express cards. They're going to do that, but then they're also going to turn around and sell a crap ton of systems and have an attach rate of 76% with Mario Kart. And they did have, and that did account for the bundle too. So they did have more bundles out in the wild than anything. So it does make sense that Mario Kart has a really stupid and crazy attach rate to that. But you know, it's nothing to sneeze at. You know, look, man, as soon as I saw the number, I was like, it's going to be really hard for other people to like kind of keep up with them, because I just feel like the demand of what Nintendo does is always people, you know, with kids, families. It's truly the family system. There's no debating that. The fact that people are going out buying extra Joy-Cons, extra Pro controllers, like people are buying accessories, and we always complain, like, why don't your accessories go forward with you? You know, Xbox did it. PlayStation does it to an extent with the PlayStation 5, where you could use a PS4 controller, but you can only use it on PS4 games. You can't use it on PS5, and you can use it on the interface. Nintendo just allowed you to use all of your old stuff on the new system, just like Xbox. And people are still deciding to spend $95 on something they don't need. People are still deciding to spend $85 on a Pro controller that you technically don't need if you have the old one. And I am a part of that. I literally bought a Pro controller because I like the way that one feels than the other one. So I am a part of it because I feel like it's a value. Nintendo's value of their stuff doesn't drop, so it doesn't really hurt to pick that stuff up when it is available, because you can always sell it and still get a good portion of your money back if you wanted to. But I think it's great, man. Outside of the little things like the Joy-Con drifts and stuff like that, which is not a little thing, it's a big thing. And you're gonna probably see that number balloon even more, because I don't know. I think if I had to take a guess, let me ask you this, SloMo. If you had to guess when the next restock, and I don't know when the next restock is. If you had to guess when the next restock is, when would you think it would be?
I would say probably late July, early August.
I'm with you. Late July. I think mid-July, because what comes out mid-July? Donkey Kong.
Oh yeah. They're gonna have systems out, and they're gonna have another restock for Donkey Kong. You know what they need to have?
What do they need to have?
They need to have a Fire Emblem, okay? I want to buy a Switch 2. I will
Then
not buy
one.
one. No. I won't buy one until I see a new Fire Emblem.
My God. Just buy it, man.
I don't make the
Then you
rules
gonna
here,
be
man.
mad. You do actually. You are the person that puts your money on the line to buy it. So you do make the rules, sir.
I am a man of integrity.
What does that have to do with anything?
When I say something, I mean it.
Oh Lord.
And when I say it, I do it. And when I say I'm not buying a Switch 2 until I see a new Fire Emblem game, that's it. It's set in stone. Like the Ten Commandments.
And when they announce that next Fire Emblem and you're going to be like out here paying scalper prices for a Switch 2, you're going to be mad as heck.
I'm not paying. No, but now see, that's another thing. Integrity, okay? Integrity. Like I refuse to play scalper prices. So if there is not one available in retail, then I will wait. Because I mean, like, it's not like when they announce it at a direct, and it's, well, I mean, they sometimes do like shadow drop, and it's available now, like sometimes, but more than likely they'll be like, and it's available in 3 months or something like that. So I got some time, and plus, like, I know people who just so happen to manage GameStops and will get stock in. And I can always just be like, hey, hold me one. When you got it, I hit up your cash app. And then, they put down their plushie that they were doing, unquestionable things with, and then they say, I got you.
Then yet you slander somebody that you want something from.
Just saying. I'm just saying
it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. You can't slander the hand that feeds you in the moment that you need to be fed.
You'll forget all about it. It's no big deal.
You're probably right. I let a lot of stuff roll off my shoulder.
We got lies in the chat.
That's funny. You killing me, bro.
Yeah. Anyway, on to the next rapid fire topic. We got some bad news, man. Got some real bad news. So unfortunately, Sony Bend is laying off roughly 30% of its workforce, which is around 40 people following the cancellation of a live service game that had yet to be announced, but that they were developing. Funny how nobody is claiming this game wasn't really canceled because it wasn't actually officially announced. Funny how that is. That's the shot to all the people who have been trying to use gaslight others and use faulty logic that the official Xbox handheld being made by Microsoft wasn't really canceled because they never officially announced it. Well, I mean, they don't seem to have a problem with understanding that games get canceled that were never announced officially, but whatever, right? So who knows what this means for Sony Bend? Apparently they are working on another game at this point, but it just seems like since Days Gone has released, it seems that there are a lot of like prototypes or concepts that they have introduced in either their own leadership or PlayStation themselves have canceled those games. So, Forte, what are your thoughts on this whole unfortunate news with Days Gone?
I mean, this goes back to what the creator said, support the game. If you want more of it, support it. And this just falls back into the square lane of it. Just like it ended up selling pretty well, but not all those sales were qualities of the quality that you would want it to sell at. Like a lot were done in, humble bundles and $10 bins and
right.
The majority,
the sales of that game is well after the price had cut. Yeah.
Right, exactly. We're talking about more than half the price of the game by the time it hit like recognizable numbers to kind of celebrate it in general. And that's the thing that people don't want to tell you. They just want to say, well, it sold this many. Well, when did those sales happen? 3 years after the game came out and nobody thought you could find it in the bin for $5? Okay, sounds good. And Days Gone was actually a pretty decent game. Especially if you
I didn't like it. But
got it on
I understand people who did.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun, especially if you got into it, after after everything, after all of the stuff that
patched.
came out for it.
Yeah, I remember when it
what I'm
launched
trying
on
to get, the patches
PlayStation, like the first 2 weeks, there was like a patch a day, which is wild considering like consoles typically have to go through a certification process. I don't know if Sony Bend, being a first-party studio, needed to do that certification process the way other developers do, but they literally had a patch a day though to kind of keep the game. Like, it's wild. It was in development for so long and yet still came in so hot. It's just yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah. I don't want to see Ben turn into just a support studio, but I kind of feel like if they keep having their games canceled, that just might end up being the future for them. I mean, at one point they were doing I can't remember which Naughty Dog game it was, but one of their games they were working in a support capacity for, which we see like main developer studios do this from time to time. Like Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal have been working in that capacity despite making their own games, but working in that capacity for a number of Xbox studios over the past 3 or 4 years. So, sorry, probably more like 2 or 3 years, but it happens from time to time. But I don't want to see a studio that at one point had the opportunity to be creative and to develop their own games, tell their own stories, deliver the kind of gameplay they think people would enjoy, being kind of forced into just doing the work that another studio needs done. It's just it kind of limits the amount of creativity you have in the industry, No, I agree. Anything else you want to say on this before?
No, I agree. I agree with everything you just said. So,
well, you're really not gonna like this next one, man.
Oh, so I'm about to disagree with you? Okay.
Oh no! I think you will agree with me, but you're just not gonna like what needs to be said about this.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Jason Schreier is back at it again. And this time he's got a investigative report on Dragon Age the Veilguard.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. So look, man.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this about to affect mass? Okay, go ahead, bro. Just tell me.
Oh, man. So let me just
pull
give you
the Band-Aid off.
This is a doozy, but let me give you the Cliff Notes version of this. Frankly, when many Dragon Age fans feared to be true about the development of this game, turned out to be exactly that. The pivot, remember at one point they were developing, so this game went through like 3 reboots, but the last reboot wasn't a real reboot, and I'm gonna get into it. So the first reboot was when not long after they came out with Dragon Age Inquisition, it won Game of the Year, got all these accolades, sold 13 million copies. EA's like, oh, this IP is worth something. But then they immediately forced the Dragon Age team to be helping the Mass Effect team, and then that like support studio that they had in Montreal for BioWare, who ended up being lead developer for some odd reason on Andromeda, making Andromeda. So they just put the build that they were working on for the next Dragon Age on hold. Then from there, that build got completely canceled, and the whole team had to help the Mass Effect team make Anthem. So then all the directors left. All the directors who had been there for every Dragon Age game left. And what they had left were some of the guys who were directors and a lot of other less experienced people.
Right.
And then they were like, so we're making a Dragon Age game. And they're like, EA goes, hey, everyone loves live service now. Let's just ignore that Anthem is dying. Forget that. We want you to make Dragon Age live service. Think about it. a RPG. An RPG's RPG, which Dragon Age is. We want you to turn that into a live service game. And it's just like, that's like turning Halo into a dating sim. That's like turning Call of Duty into a strategy RPG. It's just like the demographic that goes for this kind of game don't want to play what you're trying to do. Anyway, so for a few years, they were developing it as a live service game. The studio head leaves, the lead director, Mark Dara, leaves, and then they go, hey, look, we were tripping. Our bad. Don't make this a live service. Make it whatever you want. You want to do single player? Do single player. Cool. Okay, we'll make it a single player game again. But then they go, yeah, so like, remember before how we gave you enough time to reboot the game? We're not doing that no more. Because it's been a while. And you've been working on this for a minute. So you got a hard deadline. You need to have this ready by X amount of time. Now check this. This is the part that's new. We knew all that.
Right.
This is the part that's new. So they never gave them enough time to pivot back from a live service game to a single player game. But then we also didn't know that the Mass Effect team that's working on the new Mass Effect took over development on Dragon Age Veilguard. And when they took over development, they said, and I think the majority of the insider information that's coming out for this, given the Jason Schreier, had to come from the Mass Effect team, because it makes them look like they're geniuses and that the Dragon Age team is incompetent. And if you have listened to David Gator, who was the former lead writer on the Dragon Age games, David Gator said there's always been this rivalry between the Mass Effect teams and the Dragon Age team. They don't like each other. And they don't really respect the work that each other has done. And so when the Mass Effect team is saying that, like, the previous director, when they switched to the live service, didn't think the dark themes of Dragon Age is extremely, extremely dark, that the dark themes fit a live service game. So they made it real, like, MCU jokey, which doesn't make sense for this kind of game. I'm not saying that everything is, somber and everyone's upset and moody and emo all the time in Dragon Age. There's some jokes, right? But it's not like every 5 seconds. This is not like the theme, but that's what they developed it as. And when the Mass Effect team took over, they were like, yo, this is too lighthearted. This doesn't feel like Dragon Age, which also doesn't seem like something the Mass Effect team would really say, considering they didn't. Anyway, so all of the criticisms that this game had about it's too lighthearted, it doesn't feel like Dragon Age, these are all the things the Mass Effect team were saying. That there weren't enough big dramatic moments, big set pieces. All like the ending, people really enjoyed the ending of Dragon Age the Veilguard. Apparently that was all developed by the Mass Effect team. It's just wild that it's some of the things that they had in there story-wise, the Mass Effect team was like, they didn't like it, but they just didn't have enough time to fix it. They couldn't do a full reboot because EA wasn't allowing it. So they just let it rock. And so it's just funny. And some people, as a reaction to all this news, just didn't really like how heavy-handed the Mass Effect team was in taking control, but it does appear that most of the best parts of the game, which I still think it's a good game, right? It's just not a very good Dragon Age game. It's a good game. It's just not a very good Dragon Age game. And it's probably the worst game in the series. But the sad thing is that it looks like the best parts of this game were implemented last minute by the Mass Effect teams. I just wonder how bad it would have been if they didn't take over. Or, as I said, maybe this is just the narrative being spun by people at BioWare who are from Mass Effect. And they try to prop up Mass Effect a bit because, hey, we're never getting another Dragon Age game. They just keep it a buck. They laid off literally everyone that was on the Dragon Age team, and anyone who was left had got assigned to other EA studios or were working on Mass Effect. Even the BioWare office is no longer called the BioWare headquarters. It's called a new EA hub, which kind of lets you know the writing's on the wall for the studio, right?
Yeah.
Here's my theory, and I'm gonna ask this to you. It seems to me that they got Jason to basically throw the Dragon Age team, which who they don't care for anyway, and the IP under the bus to kind of give the Mass Effect team, who are still working on a game that they would like to sell, some pluses, some thumbs up. Hey, these guys know what they're doing. The best parts of that game, they made it. Mm-hmm. So imagine what they'll do with the Mass Effect game. You know, that's what it seems to me. What do you think?
Yeah. Nope, makes 100% because guess what? Last time we played Mass Effect, how was that game, SloMo?
Andromeda was not good.
Yeah, it wasn't a horrible game. It was the best playing Mass Effect in the whole genre, but the identity of what Mass Effect was not. It didn't resonate with people. If I will say this, if you never played Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, you might thought Andromeda was a really good game because you didn't experience what a real Mass Effect game was. But I can see that being the case just due to the fact that, you know, the last Mass Effect was that BioWare, you know, the last game that BioWare came off of was, you know, Anthem, and we all know what had that thing flamed out historically. You know, it wasn't quite at the level of Concord, but it wasn't too far behind. It was a little bit far behind, but it wasn't as bad. But I can just see a scenario where, you know, the team in general upper management, I should say, they want, they're still trying to sell a game, and maybe and even if, you know, everything is true, you know, most of, you know, 90% of the time, you know, 95, maybe even 99% of the time when Jason Schreier comes out with these pieces, you know, sometimes they're puff pieces, sometimes they're other things, investigative writing and stuff.
To be clear, I don't think Jason's lying about anything. I think he's reporting what he's told, but I think he also knows the meaning behind the information he's getting. And it's not like, ooh, hey, don't say anything, Jason. I'm giving you some inside info on what happened. It's a little bit more than that. It seems to be like, this is what happened, but it's also part of the story. You know how, like, if things go bad at work and everyone takes an L, and then everyone's got there and well, why did it go bad? Well, you know, it went bad because Janice didn't do her job correctly. You know, it went bad because Bruce is a moron and he procrastinates all the time. You know, everyone's is blaming someone else, but I'm fairly certain if Jason would have spoke to some of these laid off people who worked on the Dragon Age game, they may have some different comments on the Mass Effect team coming in and taking over and what they did and changed, and maybe some of the stuff that they added wasn't great. You know, like a lot of people didn't like the directors of this game and the comments they were making before and during the launch of this game. So were they Mass Effect people or were they Dragon Age people?
Were they Dragon Age people? And even though you have one studio, there are divides there. You know, it's a reason when 343, you know, or Halo Studios was formed after Bungie split. There were people that didn't want to work on Destiny, and there's people that still wanted to work on Halo. So the people that wanted to splinter off from Bungie went over to 343 Studios. A good portion of 343 Studios were ex-Bungie people, because that was kind of what happened there. So I can see the same dynamic under the same roof, where you got the Dragon Age team, you got the Mass Effect team. The last time Mass Effect came out with, last time Dragon Age came out with a game, it was a game of, it was game of the year, you know, with Inquisition and stuff. So they were on a high horse and everything. Last time the Mass Effect team put out a game, it was like, it was pretty much a critic failure for the most part. And then BioWare as a whole failed with Anthem. So the whole company just failed with Anthem. So there was a lot of, you know, due pressure put on just the company and like the studio in general. And then the two teams had something they had to either live up to in Inquisition or fix a wrong with the last Mass Effect game. So everybody, then you put the upper management on the hook for everything that happened with Anthem and the promise of fixing the game, to the point where they ended up just canceling all of the development that they were doing on the game to like move on to something else, which in hindsight might have been the best decision to do. But, you know, for the people that were working on those games and actually had that happen, it wasn't the best of feeling, because a lot of people lost their jobs after that. So there was a lot of culpability across the whole studio, and nobody feels good about anything when it comes to like what they put out and did. And nobody wants to see another studio come in, especially a rival. Like, you know, you don't know what the dynamic. Most of them probably were perfectly fine with each other, but I kind of, in my mind, know if a person, I'm a developer, you're a developer, but you're coming over to help me with my job and the things that I'm doing in developing this game that I've been working on since the beginning, to like not just help me, but almost take over a little bit of the development to help us get it across the line. It wasn't that you're just helping us finish the game. You're literally, like, from what this article is saying, you ended up being the crystal dynamic of what's the name?
Perfect Dark.
You're the crystal dynamic that came in to help, you know, finish Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
And I don't know. Yeah, Perfect Dark. And I don't know how I would feel about that as a developer that was on the opposite side of that. So you're right. If they went in and talked to those developers that did get laid off or were a part of that staff when all of this stuff was happening, it'd probably be a completely different tone and point of view from what's going on. My biggest worry and concern is, if this is happening, if this happened the way it happened, how much further in development did this push Mass Effect off? Because there's no way that it's no way that, and that makes sense, SloMo, because remember, we hadn't seen anything about Mass Effect for a long, and we was like, dude, it's about time that we saw something. But it all lines up, because we do know when they were like, think about it. Dragon Age did 2 trailers where they did logo reveals. You
Yeah.
lost your
It was-
mind on the second.
Yeah, I was like, you're not showing anything. So
Like,
don't.
what
I always
is
have a
this?
thing. I give you one teaser. And that's it. I don't like teaser trailers at all, but I'll give you one. When you make that teaser the announcement of the game, then okay, you don't really have nothing to show, but okay, I know the game exists. You made a little teaser trailer. You did that in Photoshop and whatever. It's fine. But the very next time I see the game, I better see something substantial. I better not see another teaser.
Right.
And they did another teaser, and it's just because of all the stuff that we discussed. And I'll say this before we move on.
Yeah.
What you said about the next Mass Effect being delayed because of this, and that's true. The Mass Effect team were not working on Mass Effect outside of a skeleton crew. They were working on the Dragon Age game, which BioWare traditionally has not been a studio that was set up that way. Like we see a lot of studios like CDPR and Naughty Dog are set up in that manner where there's like a small team that works on the next game, but the current game that's going to be released, the bulk of the studio is working on that. And that's fine when you have multiple directors working on two different games, but everyone's kind of unified. BioWare transitioned into that kind of studio, but they weren't always like that. They always had two separate teams and then eventually three teams when they were working on Star Wars: The Old Republic. But the two teams, the Mass Effect team and the Dragon Age team, these guys were always working on different RPGs. When one was working on Jade Empire, the other one was working on Knights of the Old Republic. It's always been separate. And they always had this internal rivalry on who was better.
Yep.
And when you shift that, so the first time this happened was when the Dragon Age team was working on Dragon Age 2, and they only got 18 months to make that game, which, considering what they made, fantastic. But they only had 18 months because EA needed them to help the Austin team, the team in Austin, Texas, make Star Wars: The Old Republic. That's the first time that happened. Then it happened again with Mass Effect Andromeda, and this is the Dragon Age team being forced to help make Mass Effect Andromeda, which failed. Which then you get, well, why did it fail? Who's at fault here? And when you got two different teams that don't really like each other, then you start to get that bickering. It's their fault. No, it's their fault.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why David Gator, who was the lead writer of Dragon Age, no longer works at BioWare, and when you listen to him talk about his time at BioWare and how he left, he's not happy camper. Even now, he left it like 2016, 2015. Yeah. A decade later, he's still on FU energy.
Yep.
He left because he got assigned after doing the framework of the story for Dragon Age Inquisition. He got reassigned off of that to work on Anthem. He created a story for Anthem, and the Mass Effect team says, this sounds like some Dragon Age garbage. This sounds like some old Dragons in Space garbage. So he was like, y'all the ones who need a story because y'all don't know how to write nothing right now. So because they lost their lead writer who wrote the trilogy. He gone. Casey Hudson's gone. None of y'all know how to write anything. You know what? Peace out. Y'all figure it out on your own. And look at the garbage they came out with Anthem story-wise.
Yeah, it was very it was not even lackluster. It was worse than that.
Yeah. The Dragon Age team had to help them with Anthem. Like they had to cancel the Dragon Age game to go work on Anthem. So this has been a thing where one of the other teams had to stop working on their game to go help the other studio work on their failing game. It's just not a good dynamic, but it looks like, fortunately, it's not going to be a dynamic that they have to worry about anymore because the only people that's left there at BioWare right now is the Mass Effect team. For now. Because if this next Mass Effect don't work out,
wow,
c'est la vie. It's a wrap.
It's over.
All right, you ready to get into these main topics, man?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, so make FPS great again. Oh boy! So shout out to Splitgate 2, being developed by 1047 Games. That it's been in the news cycle since last week, since Summer Game Fest, when their CEO came out on stage to announce a new mode to Splitgate 2 that just launched. And you know, he made some comments that made people upset, but I find that, you know, I might have a little bit different take on this, but we'll get into it. So the CEO of 1047 Games, he said that aren't you tired of the same old Call of Duty every year? He said he wished that we had a Titanfall 3.
I'm with him.
Right. What's the problem? How many times have we heard people say this?
I'm with him.
So people didn't like that, apparently. And they also didn't like that he said, we need to make the FPS genre great again. And I'm like, all right, so what's the deal? Why are people upset? And then I start to see people online who I ain't never seen play a first person shooter before. And to me, I feel like if they did play it, they'd be just a bullet dumpster. You know what I mean? Like just people just dumping bullets in them because they suck, right? And I'm like, people saying that the game sucks. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because I mean, I can understand someone saying it ain't great, but suck? No, it don't suck. It's got great movement. You know, it's got good gunplay. I don't, you know, it's unique and different. I'm like, what's the problem? Oh, it was the hat. So he wore a hat that's fashioned like a MAGA hat, but it's not MAGA. It says make FPS great again. And people just don't like any insinuation if you are a certain political camp. Any insinuation of supporting that ideology, especially if you're a white male, right? Which he is, the CEO. And this is video games, bro. Like I don't understand. Like everything is political. You know, like this is nothing to do with any of that. He's simply saying, yo, first person shooters have not been the same. Arena shooters aren't as popular as they used to be. And he thinks that's because they're all basically trying to be Call of Duty. He doesn't want to be Call of Duty. And then there are the people who are like, I'm cool with you saying that, but then you went and introduced a battle royale. And it's like, so you sound stupid. And I'm just like, no, you sound stupid because battle royale didn't kill the first person shooter. The most popular battle royale out there is Fortnite, which is a third person shooter, not a first person shooter. And it's not the battle royale genre that made arena shooters bad. It's that arena shooters just were trying to copy Call of Duty.
Yep.
If you have a good battle royale, then what's the problem? Furthermore, he didn't introduce, this is how I knew people didn't know what they were talking about, because they try to act like he introduced a battle royale game after saying that. He introduced a battle royale mode for his game that is an arena shooter. So it's a mode that's already in his game. It's just, good grief. It just exposes that people just like to talk on the internet.
Yeah.
And often what they talk about, they don't know what they're talking about. They just don't know anything that they're saying. They just talking. They just yapping. Just yapping. With no actual thought in their brain beyond the bare, ooh, I saw a red hat, I'm angry kind of talk.
Right.
Now, I'm done, Forte. What are your thoughts on this?
I'm done. This just goes back to the old age premise of that, you know, if you say something, even if it's not meant to be in a controversial manner, people will take it that way. Because if you tell people, you know, like, okay, what was the exact words he said about Call of Duty?
So aren't you tired of playing the same old Call of Duty every year?
And guess what? Even people that play Call of Duty every year complain about Call of Duty every year.
Yes.
But guess what? They're so brainwashed about, oh man, I'm done. I'm not buying Call of Duty this year. I'm sick and tired of the way that Call of Duty plays. But guess what? Every end of October, beginning of November, they right there playing the game. And when a person comes out and says something like that, it attacks they take it personal. Because you know why they're taking it personal? Because they feel like they're being attacked themselves because they enjoy the game. And guess what? Even in hot take here, not even a hot take, Destiny, SloMo. Why do we know the problems of Destiny? Why did I for so long fight back against you when you had something negative to say about Destiny? Why do you think?
Because you was because you felt offended. You felt you had to defend your baby.
Exactly. What? And it's no lie because I play it all the time. So you want what you play for people to like. No one is going to see it how you see it, but you're going to fight.
For it's as simple as this. It's kind of like how like I could talk about my family, but you can't talk about my family.
You can't talk
like
about
I can talk. I can call my cousin a slut, but don't you call my cousin a slut? Now I'm gonna punch you. I can call my uncle a bum who needs to get a job, but you can't say my uncle is a bum who needs to get a job.
And I think
that's my uncle. Shut up. And so it's essentially that. It's like I say Call of Duty sucks and is the same game every year, and I'm sick and tired of it as I buy it every year. But don't let some developer come out and repeat the same thing I just said.
Yep.
Now I'm mad. And why am I mad? Because I'm gonna keep buying it.
I'm gonna keep buying it, and I want
and I'm mad you calling me out on it.
Yep, and that is the honest to God truth why people were up in arms. You took the most popular, not even the most popular, the highest selling game year over year outside of the 1 year where it was beat by Hogwarts Legacy, but it has a 98% success rate, maybe 99.5 success rate of it being the number one game that releases that year outside of 2 years where Grand Theft Auto 5 came out and the other year being Hogwarts Legacy. And guess what? Next year, it will be the third time it will happen in the last 2 decades when Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out. And these people are in their feelings that a person told them that you need to change your habits and play something else because we will never get what we had back until people
he basically
try something different.
Look, he basically called people out on their own comments. You say this. You're tired of COD. You say, there's no other. All right, well, check out my new shooter. It's different. It's not COD. We got portals. And once you get beyond like your first 5 matches, you realize you need to get really good at portaling. The gameplay's different. And yeah, we just introduced the battle royale. If you're a battle royale dude, you're like, I don't like arena shooters. Which funny, people in the chat are like, but it's a battle royale. How many people were saying Halo need to introduce a battle royale to stay relevant?
Everybody.
This is what I'm talking about. See, look, I'm gonna just keep it a buck, and this isn't for anybody that's in the chat, but I'm gonna just talk about the criticism overall in general. when you can say Halo needs to introduce a battle royale to be relevant, but when someone else introduces a battle royale into a game that you don't care about, you criticize it. When you say Call of Duty needs to innovate more, stop being the same game every year, you say that, but when someone else says it, you criticize it. Here's what you really mean. Or maybe you don't realize it, but I'm gonna tell you what you really mean. You're trash. You suck at shooters. You're just really good at one shooter.
Yeah.
So you don't want to play nothing else because you're only good at COD. And when you play another game, you get bodied. When you play Rainbow Six Siege, you get bodied. When you play Destiny, you get bodied. When you play Splitgate, bodied. Halo, bodied. So you only play COD because that's all you good at. Because you don't know how to change it up. So you want that game to do something different because that's the one you're good at. You don't want to play a different game because you don't want to learn how to be good at a different game because you suck. So you make all these complaints. Hard reality. You make all these complaints, but you don't stop playing the game. And when new games introduce the things that you want, you don't want to play them. You don't even try them because you already know what the deal is. You're a bullet dumpster. You're getting bodied. Unless you're playing COD. Then you're good.
Then you're good.
And there's some of us, we don't mind learning how to play new games.
Do not.
And we get good at those games. And we'll try new things. And we're actually good at it. So we don't mind when someone introduces competition into the arena. It's competition. Oh, he talked down about a developer. So what? What do you care about them for? That's the competition. He's supposed to talk down about them. He's trying to make money out here. He ain't trying to be buddy, friends. Play my game. My game's better than that game. That's the kind of, whether it's true or not, that's the kind of energy you should be on.
Yep.
But the reason why people really got an issue with it, because this challenges them. Like when it comes to competitive games, people want to feel like they the best, or at least pretend like they are, or act like they are.
Right.
It's like boxers nowadays. Not all of them, but for a time period. Remember back in the 90s when all the boxers kept ducking each other? A bunch of undefeated boxers that was always coming up with excuses not to fight the other undefeated boxers. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. You know, like the money ain't right.
The money ain't right.
You ducking, bro. Roy Jones was ducking Bernard Hopkins because he knew what was going to happen. He was going to get smoked. Some of y'all ducking these other games because y'all know you're going to get smoked. So you make up excuses not to play him. That's what it is. Let me address something real quick. I rarely do this during the show, but I'll do it. Why? Someone in chat, Verge here, says, why is it that content creators think they know it all, but people in the chat can't have an opinion either? It's like we have to agree with what you say. You don't have to agree with anything. I stated my opinion. You can not agree at all. I don't care if you don't agree. At no point in my statement did I say you can't have an opinion. But don't get mad when I speak my opinion about your opinion. And frankly, I wasn't talking about you, Verge, but a hit dog, a holler. A hit dog will holler. So maybe that's something you need to work out personally. And I even prefaced my statement, but I wasn't talking about anybody in this chat. A lot of the comments I saw criticizing the game in that CEO statements were on social media. They were on Twitter. So getting upset that I'm saying that a lot of the people, in my opinion, the people who were upset at this guy are upset because their game, his game, is not their favorite game, and they simply are limited gamers who don't want to try and learn and get good at new games. That's my opinion. I'm not taking it back. You can take it or leave it, and if you don't want to take it, it doesn't matter. It's out there anyway. So you can get over it or you can don't get over it, right? But that's it. That's my opinion on it. If you don't like it, there's a door you can go through.
Oh man, he wants to come in
so
here
I'm
and talk to you.
So if you're upset about it, again, a hit dog or holler.
He probably ain't upset
The
about
people-
it. He just,
No, because he's writing in all caps and exclamation points.
not just because he's writing all
upset.
caps, man. That would mean
Oh, yeah, we know what that means. This is the internet. We know what that means. So this is what I'm saying. If you are upset,
go ahead. If I was upset,
if you're upset that I said that the majority of people criticizing this game, one got a lot of them who never played it, criticizing the game, are just people who are limited as shooters and don't want to try the game because they don't want to get good. And I name called them, absolutely. I called them bullet dumpsters because what they are. People just dumping bullets in them. You upset about it? That sounds like a you problem. And I'm gonna move on from it. So Forte, anything else you want to say? Go ahead.
I will say that SloMo, you get very, very animated when you're talking about bullet dumpsters. Now, to be honest, I do the same thing when people and maybe this is just, and I ain't gonna lie, this is more of a complex of I play shooters, and when you see comments when you see comments about things that you really truly know about, it just makes you wonder, like, I've never seen this person play a game like this a day in my life. And then you go look at their achievement list and be like, you haven't even played this game. So how are you even
right?
You can have an opinion. Everybody can have an opinion. But the thing is, people try to shame people or things that people are saying without even experiencing what they're actually talking about. It's like weirdo energy. So I get what SloMo's saying on that. But in general, like he was saying, nobody's like talking about anybody in the chat. Now, if you're one of those people, if you feel like he's talking to you because you're one of those people that might be on Twitter doing something like that, then like, once again, that's kind of a you problem. And, once again, that's like with me talking about me defending certain things because I play them and SloMo don't play them. And, just like he defends Division more than anything else. But it's just more a conversation. It's not really about
yeah, and let me also be clear. I'm not like the best player in every single game I play. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not.
Matchmaking kind of speaks differently to that, but okay.
But even then, I'm talking about, like, I play a lot of competitive games. I enjoy playing competitive games, and a lot of them, yeah, okay, my skill-based matchmaking will be really high because I do well. But then there are games where I don't do well in. There are games where I don't have a great KD in, and I own that. I'm not trying to pretend like I am a FPS god. I'm not. So if someone, and all my stuff is public, I got zero shame on anything. I don't try to hide nothing. All my socials is public. You want to go to Halo Tracker, even though my Halo stuff is good, do that. You want to go to Destiny Tracker, it ain't good, do that. I don't care. But what I don't do is I don't shy away from playing games. And I don't shy away from giving games a shot. And then what I saw a lot on social media were people who had never played Splitgate before, or only played the first one a little bit, and didn't even, and I know there were a lot of people in the community that played the first one, were enjoying it. And remember I told you about how they did the the onboarding for the first game.
Yeah,
the first 15 levels, all you played was new players and bots. And then after level 15, you started playing veterans. And that's where everybody dropped off because they realized, oh, that portal stuff I was ignoring all this time was really important. And that's the uniqueness of the game. And it's okay to say, it ain't for me. I don't really enjoy it. And that's no problem. I got zero problem with that. But then people will be like, a game that they were enjoying, oh, this game sucks now. No, it doesn't suck because you're losing. It's just, you got to get better. And there's some people who just don't want to accept the L's and go, okay, how do I get better?
That's a big one. That is a big
one. That's a big thing. Accept your L's and be like, yo, I need to figure out how to be better. Look some stuff up. Look at the guys that are better and be like, so what are they doing? What are they saying? What tips are they having? What am I missing? What am I not doing? Like, that's how you grow. But people don't want to grow. They just want it easy, which is why, like, I hate SBMM because it protects you from growing. Because, like, as soon as you get someone who's a better skill level than you in your lobby, you start crying. Oh no, this guy's a cheater. Oh God, this guy's how is he in my lobby? And it's just like, yo, you're not supposed to body everybody and have a 2.0 KD every match, man. You're supposed to go up against people who are really good.
Yeah.
When I was playing Splitgate that day, I went up against a guy who's in the top, like in a short period of time, I guess because of my skill, because the match I'm showing here, I got 81 kills in this match and like 13 deaths or something like that. 4 or 5 matches later, I went up against a guy I know for a fact was in Splitgate's championship. What is it called? The eSport championship stuff. Yeah. As soon as I saw him in the lobby, I was like, oh, I'm about to get worked. Yeah, I'm about to get worked because I'm rusty at portaling. I don't know the maps yet. This is my first day playing, and I know he's better than me. I know it, and it showed. I mean,
better.
I didn't have a terrible match, but compared to him, and every time I ran into him, I was a corpse. So like the dude's portaling behind me, shooting me in the back of the head. It was embarrassing. But you know what? I didn't go uninstall. I'm never playing this game again. I was like, all right. I know what he was doing. And I should have been doing the same thing. I should have been portaling like him. You just gotta get better. And it's just like people just don't want to get better. They just want it easy. And I think we see this in other kind of games too, Souls-like games, like the whole conversation about Lies of P's new expansion, where it's like they got difficulty settings in it, and the Souls community's upset about it. And it's like, I understand why they're upset, because that's not like, this was a Souls-like game, and now it's got difficulty settings. That's not what this is about. And for the people that's like, hey, what is my game? How I play my game affect you? You crying about how I played my game is the reason why you got difficulty settings.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes the prestige of the title. Like, imagine if in Elden Ring it had difficulty settings and someone said, well, I beat Millennia, Blade of Milica. What does that mean? It loses its meaning. Because then I gotta ask you, well, did you beat it on expert? Did you beat it on easy? Did you beat it on journalist mode? Like, what mode did you beat it on? Instead of like, congratulations, you beat a really hard boss, because there is no other mode. The boss is the boss, and that boss gonna body you until you figure it out and get good.
Yep.
I know we are way off the topic, but
I mean, you need to get this off your chest though, bro.
Yeah, I'm just sick and tired of people just trying to hide their insecurities, man. Just get good, man. And look, and if you try a Splitgate 2 out and you're just like, yo, I just don't think it's that good. That's cool too. That's cool. Everything's gonna be for everybody. But just this whole foolishness where it's like, he shouldn't have said that, even though you say that. It's just like, bro, you're being a hypocrite. You're only being a hypocrite because you don't want to try the game, because you don't want to, your ego, your fragile ego can't take learning to get good. You know, when a game is different, you're not going to be great at it immediately. So.
Oh boy, do
my
I
bad.
know
Go
that,
ahead,
man. I was gonna, you know, and if I bring, okay, I'll use myself as an example. And I was telling SloMo this. If you know when a person wants to get good at something, like I wanted to have a almost 3.0 KD in Battlefield. So I did nothing but work on my KD for 6 months. I started, like, I was told, so I remember I sent them a picture of my KD like 6 months before that. It was like a 1.12 or something like that. And I said, you know what? I'm about to really learn this game in Battlefield 2042, and I'm going to get this thing as high as I can get it. And when I finally quit playing, I had got that thing, and I sent SloMo a screenshot. It was a 2.86. And we're talking about with thousands of matches played, like, to get to that number, all in multiplayer. And it was like this great feeling because, yeah, and you know, the funny thing is, I had a 2.86, and there were still people I would run into in a game, and every time I seen them, like you said, SloMo, I was a corpse. I was like, yo, this dude this dude is way too good. Is he really cheating, or is this just real? And then contrast that to when I would play Call of Duty with SloMo. Now, I have fallen off of Call of Duty because, you know, the difference between Battlefield and Call of Duty is a way faster game. I had to get to the point where I was playing so bad. I felt bad because we would lose games sometimes because I would just do bad. I had like a 0.3, 0.4. Guess what? SloMo didn't care. He was just happy to be playing with his friends. But I got to the point where I'm freaking tired of having a 0.4. So all I did was go into the thing, figure out weapons, learn the maps more, and guess what?
Right.
I'm respectable now. I got to the point where I'm respectable, where I can at least hold my 1.1, 1.2 every once in a while. I'll have a 2.0, 3.0 game, but I don't have those 1.3s and 1.4s anymore. And that's playing in his ridiculous skill-based lobbies, which is crazy. And I still complain about it to this day because I feel like it's cheating at that point. But that's the thing you have to do, and we just want to see people use that same energy. So when people come up and I get where he's coming from, when people are talking about something that they truly don't know, and they don't, and you have all the ability in the world to work on it yourself, and they don't do that, it kind of makes your opinion, I won't say invalid, it just makes it incomplete. It's like telling LeBron James how to play defense on and you never played in the NBA. It's like, you ain't even played here, so how you gonna tell me how to get down and squat and play, how to squat on defense, and how, like, and people do it all the time. Like, you watch, like, people on Twitter, not even Twitter, go look at people's YouTube videos on, like, what happened in a Los Angeles Lakers game, and why LeBron James did this, and why didn't he do that, and why doesn't he just practice this? And I'm sitting there like, bro, are you in the NBA? You're up here talking like it's easy to do. It's not. But y'all talk like y'all know what y'all talking about. And I'm sitting there like, and that's the problem. So more people just need to stay in their lane on stuff like that. Doesn't mean you can't have an opinion. You just got to have an opinion that is kind of rooted in the things that you actually know 100% that you could talk about it because you live it when it comes to that type of conversation. But
right, and I often don't say anything when these kind of when these kind of discussions come up, and I see people complaining about, like, the whole Souls-like genre thing. I didn't say anything for the most part when I saw people complain about that.
Right,
because I was just like, yo, like, these are people just that the same kind of people, like the ones that like advocate for not having difficulty trophy / achievements. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with there being an achievement or trophy for playing the game on the hardest difficulty? Like, that's an accomplishment. Well,
remember when
I would want to celebrate that. Yeah, I was upset, yo.
They took that out of things. I was like, listen, I wanted to get. I always thought my favorite achievement that I worked so hard to get in Modern Warfare 2 was the Mile High Club achievement. It was the achievement where it was after you beat the game and you had to do the whole running through the whole plane to get to the president at the end. You had to do it in under, like, I think it was like 45 seconds or 30 something seconds or something like that. I did that for 3 to 4 days straight, perfecting everything, where to throw the flashbang, where enemies were coming from. It literally took me a good 9-12 hours of just running that mission over and over and over again until I finally got that achievement. And it was like, to this day, no achievement, not even doing the flawless raider in Destiny, where you gotta count on 5 other people not to do something stupid that's not even in your control. That was a harder achievement to me and meant more because I worked at it time after time after time until I beat it. And that's the type of drive that you kind of, not saying you got to have that type of drive to have an opinion, but that's the type of thing we're talking about when it comes to like people saying like, oh, it's too hard. Get better at it. Just get better. And if you're better is just, you know, slightly raising your KD to be more competitive, you don't have to be a 2.0 KD. You could be a 1.5. If you're a 1.1, raise it to a 1.2. Get it up to a 1.3. Learn the map better. Learn to use cover. Don't be a person that's just running around the map and this person comes out of your peripheral and you don't even see them because you're just running in the open area. Like, dude, they have cover on the map for a reason. You're not even using it. So those are the little things we want people to like kind of understand when we're talking about getting better. It's not all about your skill. It's about just awareness on what you can do to kind of minimize yourself. Because guess what? If you are in a war in real life, are you just going to run across an open field, or are you going to hit every rock on your way to your point that you need to get to your point of interest to make sure you make it there and still have the chance to fight the fight that you were there to put for? But yeah, there it is.
I think that was a good conversation, man. I think that was a good
First one to come here and talk to you, by the way. I would have loved to see what that would have been like.
Oh man. That definitely would have been a funny conversation.
Oh my God, stop SloMo.
What? No, I'm just saying I'm just saying we would just have a discussion. No big deal.
Half the time I don't know about you though.
You always take my meaning of things to be sinister and evil, and it's never like that.
Because sometimes they are.
Sometimes, but not now, not today. No. So look, let's move on to the next topic. This one is about. Oh man, we're gonna be arguing all night, basically. So look.
Oh, this is an argument.
Outer Worlds 2. Outer Worlds 2 is an $80 game. You can now pre-order the Outer Worlds 2. It was shown at the Xbox Showcase. I still thought, like, you know, and I didn't have a recap or our impressions of the showcases over the past week as a topic, because if you want to see how we felt about the showcases, we have that up on the channel. We went live as a dual stream with the Iron Lords podcast. Shout out to the Iron Lords, and it's there. So if you want to see what our opinions are on the showcase, Xbox Showcase itself, that is still up. You can check that out after the show if you want. But just real quick, we did think it was a bit weird that the very first game shown was the Outer Worlds 2 when you're going to show it a 30-minute, deep dive on it after the showcase. I thought that was unnecessary, but considering it was the shortest showcase they've done in years, not really surprised that was the case. That said, the game's going to be $80 for the standard version and $100 American for the premium edition. And their director of The Outer Worlds 2 came out and said, you need to speak to the publisher, aka Xbox, about the price because they don't control that, which is 1,000% accurate. Most developers, even the director of the game, isn't controlling the pricing of the actual game. So let's talk about that.
Wait, we're going to talk about that. Before you say that, before you go further, wasn't that a better response than Randy Pitchford coming out and telling people the same thing, but adding more stuff on? I was all they said.
That's because Randy can't help but be Randy. Because see, and
the publisher.
right. And see, that's the big difference. Like I just went through defending 1047 Games, the CEO, but like that guy never called y'all brokies. It's essentially what Randy Pitchford did. He called anyone complaining about the price a brokey.
Basically.
Through any accountability for whatever the price is going to be, which is definitely going to be $80, but he doesn't want to say it. To Take-Two in 2K, and was like, and if you a real fan, you gonna figure it out. Like that's some BS, right? That's some BS. Right. This director, though, which I forget the name of the Outer Worlds 2 director, but they just said, look, I don't control that. And that's some PR savviness right there. I don't control that. I don't control the prices. I make the game. The publisher handles that. And just leave it at that. Don't call nobody a brokey. Don't someone you need to get a second job. Or hey, maybe if you stop eating so much fatty, then you could afford the game. None of that other foolishness that we see from like Randy Pitchford. Just straight up, I don't control it.
I don't control it.
Right. So Forte, what in your eyes, because as we know, the value of something is subjective. The price of it is subjective.
Yep.
But in your eyes, do you think The Outer Worlds 2 is worth $80?
Me personally, I don't think it is. I can't 100% say that due to the fact of I haven't, played it yet. But
played the first one, right?
The last game was 60. Last game was 60.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like just coming out saying the game, well, they didn't say it, but we're insinuating it is. There is a lot of things that they added to the game. The game does look better. It's going to run better. It's drastically a bigger game. We know development costs have went through the roof a little bit. You know what? I changed my mind. I do think it's worth 80 because I don't think being 80 is the problem. I just think it's the fact that nobody knows what the price of a game is anymore. Like we got Nintendo coming out with, different price points for different games. Mario Kart's 80, Donkey Kong 70, then you got games coming out at 60, then you got games at 50, then you got something that releases at 40, and these are still all next gen games. And then Indiana Jones had a $70 version, then it also had a $100 version. What's the name of the game? Doom, same thing, $70 version, $100 version. At least the $100 version, we knew it came with early access, which is going to be the same thing for Outer Worlds 2. This is the reason I don't feel like it's worth. If I had to fight against the $80 price tag, the reason I would say I would fight against it is because Xbox has already set up a pricing structure on what the 2-day early access or 3-day early access is worth. They didn't raise the price of the $100 version, because if they would have kept it in line and you would have thought like, and this is where people just kind of, you just put your thinking cap on. Indiana Jones was a $70 game. To get the early access with all the extra content that was coming out, you paid $100. It's the same thing with Outer Worlds 2, but the difference is the base version of the game is 80, and for the same upgrade to get the Ultimate Edition of the game that gives you all the extra content plus the early access. Now it's only a $20 difference. But the game is supposed to be bigger, more expansive, and everything like that. So,
but it's.
Go ahead.
Look, I thoroughly enjoyed the Outer Worlds 1. That was a AA game.
Yeah, Yeah.
I played that through Game Pass. I didn't think that was worth full price when it came out. But 2019, I think 2019 it was. What they showed of this game looks good. Looks really good.
It looks good.
I like the improvements they made with the combat. I like the different abilities. I like being able to like it's like you're almost like you're launching enemies into the air, freezing them, and then shooting. I love that stuff. That looks great. Can't wait to play it. That's it. I don't think it's worth $80. Look, this is me. For me, it ain't worth $80 to me. Now, if it wasn't in Game Pass, I would probably wait for a sale.
Okay.
To play it. It's in Game Pass. Someone play it through Game Pass. And someone wants to call me a brokey for doing that. Cool. Call me a brokey. I don't care. What I find to be a value is what I find to be a value. Right. And although it looks good, I don't think that. So like, remember when they announced that some of their games would be $80? They said some of their games would be $80. And when we first heard that, Forte, what did we think? We knew of 2 games that were coming out later this year. The Outer Worlds 2 and Call of Duty. And when they said some of their games would be $80, we automatically assumed, they mean Call of Duty. That's going to be $80.
Yep.
And we thought that made sense because it's the value of the IP in addition to everything that you get. And Call of Duty gives you multiplayer, gives you a campaign, it gives you a massive update to Warzone. Sometimes it comes with zombies. Sometimes it comes with a new mode that they decide to try to make work, and Call of Duty community doesn't feel it, and so it doesn't work. So they discontinue it after 3 months. But that's a lot of content.
Mm-hmm.
And considering how they know how they got the Call of Duty community by the short and curlies, they're going to go ahead and price it whatever the heck they want to price it. So they will make it $80. What they going to do? You going to buy it. But when the Outer Worlds is $80, it's like, what? The second game in the IP of a AA game? I don't know about that. I don't think this game is going to do much because of that. I don't think this game is going to do much outside of Game Pass. I think it'll have a big impact in Game Pass. There'll be a lot of people who will play it there, engage with it there at a higher percentage than some of their other first-party games. And that's going to be due to the fact that people who are interested in the game but may not quite think that the game is worth that price tag are going to say, all right, look, I'll play that in Game Pass instead of buying it.
Right.
And I'm still looking forward to it. I just, the price is not, I don't think the price lines up with what kind of game it is. And you ain't gonna tell me that when you were in the concept phase and pre-production phase of this game, and we don't know the budget of it, how much it cost them to make the game and market it and all that jazz.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna tell me that you need to price this at $80 to recoup your costs and make a profit. Bull. Right. BS. You're lying. Not true. False. Just cut it out. I don't believe it. But again, this is really about when it really comes down to value of the IP. Nintendo, they don't need to price Mario Kart World at $80. They choose to do that because it's Mario Kart World and Mario Kart 8 sold over 70 million copies.
Yep.
So they know they're good for it. Call of Duty is in top 3 games sold every single year. Microsoft and ABK and know they're good for it. What is the rationale for pricing the Outer Worlds 2 at $80? Just someone come up, tell me. Why should this be an $80 game? It ain't the IP. Sure, the previous one was a Game of the Year nominee, but it didn't win.
Yep, didn't win.
Rodman says it was a Game of the, it was a nominee for Game of the Year. And if it won Joe's Garage Video Game Awards for Game of the Year, great. But ain't nobody thinking about that. Ain't nobody thinking about that, bro.
Wow.
So whatever, man. Anything else you want to say on this one? Because I know we started late. So
Joe's Garage should be offended right now, but no. That's all I
Be offended. Be offended. Your name is Joe's Garage Video Game Awards. Joe don't come out of his basement, and he needs to get some vitamin D on his skin. So I don't care. But no, I just like the video game. It was and that's no shade against the Outer Worlds 1. Good game, good RPG, Game of the Year nominee. It's still not a IP that's like a household name,
Mm-hmm.
And again, when we all heard they were doing $80 pricing, there was criticism for that.
Mm-hmm.
And people felt that none of the games should be $80. And again, it's subjective. The value is to you. If they come out with a Chrono Trigger remake, Square can charge whatever they want. I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Frankly, Nintendo can charge whatever they want for the next Fire Emblem. I'm buying it. But it's up to you. And I think the majority of the people, when they look at Outer Worlds 2, I don't think that's worth it. I think, and hey, I could be wrong. But I'm not. But I could be.
I could be wrong, but I'm not. Oh my.
Anyway, anything else you want to say on this before we move on to our last topic?
I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. No, I'm good. I could be wrong, but I'm not.
Look, man. You know what it is. You agree with me. You know you do. So look, like last topic of the night.
I will confirm or not deny that.
And man, y'all about to be, oh gosh, we gonna have some comments on this podcast when this is over. So Microsoft announced the much rumored, but everyone has been talking about it, including us on this show, partner handheld with Asus, the now called Xbox ROG Ally, which I think the name should just drop the ROG. It should just be Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X, but what do I know? Anyway, that's supposed to be coming out later this year. And it looks like we have a couple of rumored things that also have come out about it. From a known leaker, whatever, Spanish leaker dude. Y'all know who I'm talking about. He's been saying that he's heard the pricing. This is for euros, would be $5.99 for the Xbox Ally Standard, and excuse me, $8.99 for the Ally X. Now, if you take into account the United States with tariffs, that Ally X is looking like close to $1,000.
Yeah,
that is not. That would be a bad idea if they do that. But who knows if tariffs will still be a thing, still be in play back then. Everything's very volatile in the market right now, so let's not worry about that. This newer version of the Xbox, this new Xbox handheld, ROG PC handheld, is going to have a newer version of the Xbox UI that will boot directly into the UI and not need you to launch it from a Windows desktop. And that will be exclusive to the Xbox Ally. I'm just gonna call it the Xbox Ally because calling it the ROG Ally is stupid. So the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X, it will be exclusive to that for an undetermined amount of time, which you know what that's about. They're trying to create some value. It looks like they do care about exclusives. Anyway,
they do.
So this game will allow players to take a Xbox branded device and play PlayStation games with it. And those will be the PlayStation games that are now on PC. And we'll get into that about Sony a little bit later. But that's been a lot. That little last point's been a big conversation over this past week about, is Sony going to do something about this? Is Sony going to do something about their games on PC? Or they're going to try to block this particular PC handheld from playing those games because it's labeled, it's branded an Xbox device. And Sony still, even though they have put some of their games on a Switch, they have been putting their games on PC, they still refuse to put any of their games unless they're forced to by the light owner of the IP, like MLB The Show, put their games on an Xbox. So, Forte,
I'm here.
First of all, what do you think about the price? And then what do you think about what Sony will do about all that?
Ooh, nothing. I don't think they can do anything, honestly. We had this conversation a long time ago. Not even that long ago, when we heard about the handheld, especially with it being able to, access the Steam interface and being able to play PlayStation games natively on the hardware. And I think we even even argued the fact that, we talked about how the Xbox handheld that they are developing is, been put on the shelf on ice right now for the time being. But this handheld,
it's canceled, man. It's canceled.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're at a point now where the fact that this handheld
real quick. So it's funny how things aren't apparently officially canceled unless they either were never announced at all, and some people just don't call it canceled because it was never announced, even though as if like things just appeared out of nowhere right when they were announced, and then if you cancel after you're announced, then it's officially canceled. But it's not really canceled outside of that. Also, it's funny how we said on here it was canceled, but because other people were saying no, it's just on hold or it's just sidelined like right now, people really ran with that. But now that other people in the media are saying it's canceled, now they feel it's canceled. So I see how this works. It's not real. People will accept the information coming from someone that isn't officially publicly with the company if it's from a media source that they like or a media source they feel is legitimate.
Right.
But if it's coming from anyone else, that's not real. I just find that funny. Go ahead, continue.
No. I do find that funny too, but I just think in general, it's an Asus handheld, but the technicality is Xbox is calling it the Xbox Ally, so it's being branded as an Xbox. And I guarantee when you get the box, like you actually pick the unit up, it's going to have the Xbox branding on it. Like where the Asus ROG Ally, when it came out, had Asus all over it. And then it just had the Game Pass sticker where you could play native Game Pass directly on it. It was basically, that was like more in partnership, where this just feels like it's a full-blown handheld, because I guarantee that box that it comes in is going to have a logo. It's going to probably have a small Asus logo on it. but the main attraction will be the Xbox logo on that box. And you will identify that handheld as an Xbox, especially since that's what they called it. They didn't call it anything else. They called it the Xbox Ally and Ally X. So will they do anything about this? Will they do anything about this?
Matter of fact, not only does that name suck, they should not have ROG even on the screen. Have you seen the video, Forte? The IGN Live?
Yeah.
So for those who weren't aware, and on IGN Live, they were, showcasing their live, like a get together live watching the Xbox showcase. When they first showed the beginning of the trailer and the handheld and the big X explodes through the membrane or whatever, they're cheering. They did have a hype, man. I thought that was a bit weird. Like, oh my God, this is great. I'm going to trade in my Steam Deck. I'm like, dude, shut up, bro. Stop it. You're doing too much. Like we can, do you we can hear you trying to hype the crowd up? Like, can you just stop, right? Like, let it be natural. Let it be organic, which it became anyway, because as everyone's all hyped up for this device, as soon as they showed the ROG, which is on the screen right now, it started to die down. And then they started to just kind of look at it. And they were just kind of staring, like they were a bit confused. And I think, I'm not in the mind of everyone that was there, but I think for them to lose, for the air to get sucked out of the room when the ROG popped up, I think it's because they thought it was an Xbox created handheld. And then they saw the ROG on it and thought, oh, this is just a commercial. Because you know how like Jeff Keighley be having commercials all in his events and stuff, right? So that they just thought, oh, it's not really an Xbox, it's a ROG Ally. It's another ROG Ally, right? Is that what this is? So I think it was confusion. And I think, look, Asus is making it for you, fine. You're giving them exclusive features for UI changes that no one else is going to get. That's the benefits they're getting. They're making money off of it. Cool. Take that ROG off the daggone device. Just take it off. Take it out of the name. Xbox Ally. If you're not going to do your own handheld, don't bother with any of that, because it just confuses people. And I don't think people will be confused indefinitely. But I think that confusion that showed initially there, imagine these are hardcore gamers. You're a hardcore gamer if you're gonna go to a live event on a Sunday to watch a showcase. You're not even there, like they're there. You're watching a projector with a bunch of sweaty, dirty people beside you, which I'm assuming maybe not everyone was sweaty and dirty, but
oh my God,
we know how this is, right? So they stink. Anyway, so like instead of sitting in the comfort of your home and watching this, you went there to do it. You're a hardcore gamer. So you already kind of, you're tuned in to what's going on. Now imagine the common gamer, the somewhat casual, a little bit more than casual gamer who don't really keep up with all this stuff. Maybe some of them will be like, it's an Xbox handheld. Cool. Maybe they don't even know about the cancel. They probably definitely don't know about the cancel one, right? But for this one, they're just like, what is our ROG? Is this like no different than other Asus handhelds? What's the difference? Can I just buy the cheaper Asus handheld, get the same stuff? It's just
technically yes.
Yeah, right. So just like I feel like they should have just dropped it. But my bad. Go ahead and continue, man.
No, you're good. No, I mean I think that's just the end result of it. I don't think they could do something, but the amount of effort it would take to have, you would have to have Steam go in and basically not allow certain games to be played on a handheld But then if you think about it, that handheld isn't really an Xbox handheld. It is a third-party handheld. It's just marketed and going to have Xbox all over it. So normally you don't see that type of marketing when it comes to like more of the product that a company is making. It would still be more pronounced them, but then it would just have logos, pretty much like how Steam Decks were. Now the difference with Steam Decks, they had all the marketing. Like Steam Deck was the Steam Deck, you know, it was just a PC, but big old logo and everything else on it, even on the box. So I can see them trying to do something, but for the most part, I think for the amount of games that you're talking about, and then it wouldn't just be just Steam. It would have to be on Epic. It would have to be GOG. Anywhere that they sell their games, they would have to get in conversation with all of them for it, because this handheld isn't just an Xbox. It's not just any regular handle. It can play Steam. It can play Epic. It can do Ubisoft, Connect, and all of these other launchers. So in my opinion, the only way it doesn't happen for PlayStation in the long term is if that reality of them having their own launcher comes to fruition. Because if they have their own launcher that comes to fruition, then they can lock all their stuff behind that launcher, meaning they don't have to allow that APU to be accessible on any hardware that they want. The only downside to that is, are you going to pull all your IPs off of all the third-party platforms like Steam? And at that point, we already know what's going to happen to the sales of those games if that
right. And so let's really like break that down. You got the Steam OS, which Valve is a little bit ahead of the game when it comes to Microsoft in regards to having an OS that other PC manufacturers can take, implement, put into their device, and it works seamlessly. It does a lot of the things that we want the Xbox device to do, and it's not a big of a headache to do it. It's Linux based, so that does come with its own caveats. Like, you can't really play games that need anti-cheat, because anti-cheat software does not quite work with Linux very well right now. So you can't play Fortnite on it natively. You can't play Call of Duty on it natively. You can't play Destiny or anything else that needs an anti-cheat on those kind of devices, which you can on a Windows-based PC handheld, which is to their advantage, right? But you still need to shore up the features that people need. You still need to, like, this is like the transition period of trying to get the Xbox console gamer into what the ecosystem will eventually turn into. Because make no mistake, when they come out, even though I'm still somewhat iffy on them actually really dropping another console, but when they come out with the under the TV new console, which they claim they're doing in 2027, 2028, that will be a Windows-based device like this one. It's going to use the same UI. It's going to have all those games. The way things are working with this device is just going to be in a non-handheld form, and probably a little bit more powerful, but maybe not as powerful as, say, what the PS6 is going to be. But I say all that to say, this comes with its own copy. They need to make this work great. But here are some of the issues that, as a console gamer, I don't think they are aware of, that they're going to get into if they get this device. And maybe some of you guys in the chat who already own a PC handheld have seen these things before. But when it becomes kind of like your primary way to play games, you're going to have some problems here. Here's one of them. Launcher issues, multiple launcher issues. For example, Steam has a habit of trying to hijack the controls of games that, let's say, I'm trying to explain this in a way that people understand. You have Steam, the launcher, installed in your PC. You also have Epic Game Store installed. Epic Game Store is the only place you can play Fortnite. So you launch Fortnite, but for some reason the controls are acting weird. You're trying to pull up the building, materials, and instead it pulls up a virtual keyboard. What's going on? Well, what's going on is that Steam is trying to hijack and implement its controller like format onto a game that isn't being ran through Steam. And you have to make sure that every instance of Steam is no longer running when you play games on other launchers. I had to create a script where I just double click the executable and it goes and shuts down every process for Steam when I'm done playing with Steam games through Steam, so I can play something else. And it's not just for Fortnite and Epic Games Store. It could be the Division 2 on through the Ubisoft Connect. It could be on the Xbox app. It could be on the EA app. It could be on whatever. This is an issue. How do they prevent that from happening? Do they create scripts that just run in the background, and automatically when you're done playing with a game, then you're going to have all these storefronts unified in the Xbox UI, so you can just check a box and all your Steam games just show up there? But you view it as these are all my games, not my Steam games and my Xbox games. But that's what's really happening in the background. So you're not thinking that when I stop playing God of War 2018 through Steam and I started trying to play Halo Infinite through the Xbox app, why are the controls not working correctly? They need to be able to behind the scenes be making sure that these things that PC Gamer would do are being done automatically, because this is a PC platform, but you got console gamers that are going to be trying to engage in this platform. Am I making sense, Forte?
You are. It makes sense to me.
All right. Another issue that may come up is access to games. When GTA 6 comes out next year, this Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X will not be able to play it natively. Not at launch. Because this is a PC handheld. It's a PC cosplaying as a console handheld. It's not going to have, because Rockstar isn't putting GTA 6 on PC at launch, it's not going to have access to that. And the only way you're going to be able to play GTA 6 through this device is if you have an Xbox, that a console that has GTA 6, and you stream it from the console, which is not going to be the preferred experience, the preferred way to play it. Forte, you love EA College Football, right?
Sure do.
Last year, which platforms did EA College Football come out on?
Everything but PC and Nintendo Switch, and
right.
Regular Xbox and PS4, Xbox One,
right.
PS4.
So, if you're
exclusive to next gen only,
right? 10 million people play EA College Football. None of those people
had the new system,
right? Potentially that many people who are looking forward to this year's version of that game likely won't be able to play it on the Xbox Ally when it comes out. Additionally, all of EA Sports games suck on PC. Like bad. It's horrible.
Yeah, they do.
EA doesn't even try. I don't know about NBA 2K. Maybe someone who's familiar with those games knows how well they play on PC. But typically, a lot of the sports games are, like, for example, I think MLB The Show is not on PC. That's just on consoles as well. So it's like, these are the things that you're missing out on that they're going to need to find a way to make sure they work. But see, and the great Rich makes an interesting point. He says if Microsoft makes a partnership with EA, it could easily be Play Anywhere, but Play Anywhere only works when there's a version of that game on PC. For example, I can't play Halo Guardians. This device won't be able to play Halo Guardians. Halo Guardians is the only Halo game that's not on PC natively. And because it's not on PC, it can't be a play anywhere game. Now, the Master Chief Collection and Halo Infinite playable on PC. Because there's versions of them on PC natively. So if you own it on Xbox, you have access to own it and you own it on PC. That's great, but there's a version of for you to play it on PC. It was developed and ported there to work on PC or launch simultaneously there like Halo Infinite. Halo Guardians is in that transition period. And it never was put on PC. There's no version of it on PC. You can't play it on PC. So Play Anywhere doesn't matter for that game. And for any of the games that you own on an Xbox that doesn't have a version of it on PC, you're SOL. Additionally, for third-party games, and the reason why they can do this for Play Anywhere, because they already kind of set that up, right? But for publishers that you bought, say, I'll use Division 2 as an example. You bought the Division 2 back in 2017, 2018, whenever it came out, on Xbox One X. Okay? So you own it you bought it on that, and you played it, and you have it. And then they come out with the new DLC. Let's say they come out with another DLC. You want to play that, but now you have an Xbox Ally. And you don't have that old Xbox One anymore. And you're like, well, I bought it. I have it only in my account. My Xbox account has the Division 2 on it. So I should have this game. But if Ubisoft doesn't consent to giving you access to that game, it's because you owned it on the Xbox. That's a licensing issue that just can't get corrected. It isn't just going to be automatic. Microsoft can't just be like, just let them play it. No, you got to get the publisher on board. And maybe that publisher is like, well, if they want to play the game again, they should buy it again. You never know. We know certain publishers are like, Take-Two's like that. Take-Two would never be down with that. They want the double dip. But some of the publishers may be a bit more lenient on that. It's just like these kind of things need to be rectified. And so I think for the common gamer who isn't well versed in these kind of things, they may be a bit confused on why games they had access with before. And Microsoft has always talked about, we want your games to carry with you. Those games aren't there. Excuse me. What are your thoughts on that, Forte?
No, I mean, man, the conversation around all that is the same. Especially for me, it just really comes back to what is the achievement on that. And when it comes to like the play anything, play anywhere has been around since 2015. Like I say, I remember Shannon Loftus a long time ago when before she was at World's Edge, and she was, I forget what her position was. I think it was over third party something. And she was talking about the crossover, because this is when, a lot of people were up in arms about Play Anywhere and, having Xbox games on PC. And she came out and said that they don't see as much they say they barely see any crossover between PC and Xbox. And trying to like calm that down, and completely different to where we are now. It's like everybody celebrates Play Anywhere, and I can have my games here, I can play them there. It's just a completely different philosophy, especially of how the gamer thinks about the Xbox ecosystem. But like you said, all of those games aren't available in all those places. And unless you're going to tell me that Xbox is going to find a way to make your purchases of games that you buy on Xbox also cross over to Steam. Now, I know they have a way to have your progress transfer over, because certain games do allow you to do that when you play them on Steam.
What do you mean by that? you said games that you. Okay, so is this what you mean? I bought a game on Xbox console. Now I have this PC handheld. The game, for those who don't understand, a lot of games, like because the Xbox Microsoft Store on PC is so unpopular. Prior to Game Pass, it's still somewhat within Game Pass. Games that in Game Pass have a PC version through the Xbox Store. But that's it. No one else ports their games on there because no one else buys their games in there. And so, like, Epic Games Store, GOG, Steam, all these other storefronts get these games, but Xbox doesn't. And so, and apparently, since I use the Division 2 too much, I'll use a different game. Assassin's Creed Shadows. You bought Assassin's Creed Shadows on your Xbox Series X. You traded that in to get an Xbox Ally. You have this Xbox Ally. You want to play Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's not available in the Xbox UI, but it is available in Steam. To answer your question, Forte, I think you need to buy the game again because that's Steam. Steam's going to want their 30%. They don't care that Microsoft already got 30% of the cut of that sale on an Xbox. That's a whole different platform. They're going to want their 30% cut. They're not going to allow, and no one, and I don't see Ubisoft taking the hit on that to give access. They're going to want that 70% cut again. And so Gregor has a question. He said he wants to know, do you mean merging licenses? Because that's what you mean. I still think it comes down to the same problem of people not getting paid for the sale of the game.
Yeah.
Because Valve doesn't care that a player who now has a Steam account but bought the game on a different platform wants to play the game. They're gonna all right, we'll buy it again. I want my 30%. And who's gonna pay me my 30% if you're not gonna pay by the game? Is it gonna be Microsoft? Is it going to be Ubisoft? Who's gonna pay me? I don't see anybody saying, I'm gonna take the L on that.
No, you're right about that.
So you're just gonna have to buy the game again. Yeah, and if you really care for the game, you're just gonna have to buy it again on that device. In addition to the games that, like GTA 6, that don't come to PC at launch, they're not gonna be there. Now, of course, you're gonna get your PlayStation first party games, which you talked about that. I want to get into that too. You got your PC only games, like I talked about Morbid Metal earlier tonight. Great indie game. Definitely check it out. You will be able to play that demo through the Xbox Ally and Xbox Ally X, but that game isn't even slated to come out on the PlayStation or Xbox console. So there's benefits, right? But there's also downsides, and you just need to kind of understand what those benefits and downsides are, because I feel like there are a lot of content creators, and I'm not calling anyone out, but there's a lot of content creators that are dismissing these things because it doesn't really fit their narrative. The negative things, they don't fit my narrative. I'm just gonna talk about the positive stuff. For the flip side, the positive things, I'm not gonna talk about those things. I'm just gonna talk about the negative.
Right.
And I want to talk about both because because this is going to be using extreme Z2 Extreme APU. It's probably going to be the most powerful handheld on the market, or one of the most powerful handhelds on the market when it comes out. And it's going to get a lot of marketing and be mass produced and sold everywhere and get a lot more high profile than other PC handhelds have been. So it's going to be likely a good quality device to use.
Mm-hmm.
But you need to know what you're getting into before you get into it. Will Sony remove their games off? Ultimately, I don't think they will. I think they want to, but I think that would upset their plans on PC too much.
Honestly, right now.
Yeah, see, so they've already, if you aren't, no one's aware, they've removed the regional restrictions worldwide for a good number of games. So now they've opened that up, and they made some comments recently. SIE CEO Nishino said that Xbox multi-platform strategy shift is ultimately a good thing. But for them, they will continue to focus on their hardware. And I think if anyone thought that they were going to go day and day on PC, these moves that Microsoft has made has killed that completely. Think about this. They have a couple of options here. They can try to implement some software-based executables that would then scan someone's device for their games and when almost kind of like how anti-cheats work. And when it detects that you're using an Xbox Ally, block it from running the game. They could do that.
They can.
But the backlash would be severe.
Very.
Valve's probably going to make a move on this because now they sold the game to someone and now they got to do a refund. So now they're losing money. They're not going to be happy about that. And so if Sony actually had their own launcher out, which I know they're working on, but this has been like it's been job announcements saying that they've been working on that years ago. I don't know where that is. They could have canceled it. Who knows? Sony is a lot more like that, has a lot less leaks than Microsoft does. So who knows what stage that's in or if it's ever coming out, but it's not going to be out before this device. So if they had their own handheld, they could take the guaranteed L approach of taking all their games off of other platforms and just putting it on this PlayStation app launcher, which has never worked for any of the publisher that's tried that. So it would fail, and they would be crawling back to Steam. Or they could just do what they're continuing doing and allow those games, the live service ones at launch, and the single player games that after a delay, to be playable on this Xbox branded device. But make no mistake, if they had any thoughts of going day and date on PC, that's over now, because now the perceived value of timed exclusivity means more. So now they're definitely Ghost of Yotai, Intergalactic, the Wolverine. Those games being timed exclusive and console exclusive for the PlayStation 5 is more important to them more than ever. Because for them, value is the content that I have that you don't have. Same thing for Nintendo. The only people who don't believe in this is Microsoft. They're in the minority. But the majority feels I need exclusive content to drive people to my platform. And if I looked at PC as a completely separate market, that I was fine putting my games there. But now you are now taking PC devices and branding them as Xboxes. Well, if I was going to say at the beginning of next generation, put my games day and date on PC, well, I'm not doing that no more. Because now you've changed things where if I do that, now I don't have any kind of exclusivity for content because your Xbox devices are getting my games day and date. And so I'm not going to do it. So this pretty much kills that.
Yeah.
You agree?
No, I agree. I do think that I mean, I'll put it like this. I agree to an extent. If PlayStation is really on the energy that they don't want their stuff to be another like marketed or even shown on a competitor's piece of hardware, which would it be called the, like you said, worst name in gaming for a console, Xbox Ally X or Xbox Ally, that would be the case. But I still hold to the fact that, and I'm not saying they have to do this, but it is 100% certain when you release stuff at the same time on multiple platforms, you sell more of it than you don't sell of it. Yes, they can still sell 1 million to 2 million or even 3 million after the fact. They did it with multiple games before, but the ROI, yes, you're still hitting a player base second, but you're still losing people that over the course of however long it took, right now it looks like they're on a year to a year and a half turnaround where they put the games from PlayStation over to PC. Over that year, yes, you're going to get some PC gamers that's going to go over and play it on PlayStation 5, but then we also know there's a lot of PC gamers that most PC gamers don't mess around with console like that, and they'll just wait, just like they do with Grand Theft Auto. Some will go out and buy a console. Some say, I will just wait. Well, most will say, I'm just going to wait the year for it to come over, unless they already have the console in their house. And Grand Theft Auto is the one that's going to move the needle the most in that player base. So
right.
I just think in general, if they want to make it, if they're truly about keeping the platform to platform and keeping that basically the main thing, then what you said is absolutely correct. And they'll day and day die with
Sony came out with investor call, financial report kind of thing. They for those that didn't know, and because I know there's been a lot of talk about, PlayStation needs to do something. They gotta do something. They got, like Nintendo's coming. Nintendo is getting all these third-party games day and day. What's Sony gonna do? Nothing. They're gonna do what they've been doing. Some data here for those who don't know. This generation, this shocked me, because as far as content goes, they really ain't been delivering on the content like that. But apparently, this generation alone, they have generated more profit from the PlayStation division than PlayStation 1 through 4 combined. I'll repeat that. This generation, and this generation isn't even over yet. They have generated more profit than the previous ones combined. They are at 13 billion in profit for this generation, the PS5 generation. They're at 12 billion in profit combined for the previous ones. Now, sure, PS3 had a lot to do with that. When you look at the chart, and if you don't believe me, or if you want to see it for yourself, that's fine. Daniel Ahmad posted this information from their report a couple days ago, or at least maybe yesterday. I'm trying to find it just so I can get I thought I saved this thing. I did bookmark it. Silly me. So with PlayStation, the PlayStation 1, their operating income, it was 3 billion. PlayStation 2, 2 billion. PlayStation 3, negative 4 billion. And PlayStation 4, 9 billion. Combined, that equals 10 billion. I think that's 10. Hold on. 5. Yeah, 10 billion. Okay. The PlayStation 5, 13 billion by itself. And the generation's not over yet. So they're good. They don't need to make a pivot. That said, they also said that they believe in multi-device but not multi-platform. So they're fine with what they're doing, and they've been saying this all generation. Single player games first on PlayStation 5, then go to PC later. Live service games, they want as many players as possible, and they need them because the live service games have not been great, right? So day one on all platforms that it comes out on. But that's not really changing. And if they had any thoughts of changing it, it doesn't matter that Xbox says PlayStation's not our competition. That's our partner. You know, we make a lot of money over there. We're a great third-party publisher for them. And according to Nushino, the CEO, yeah, hey, we like what they're doing. I think that's good. But for us, that's not for us. We're not going to do that. We appreciate the 30% cut off their games they're giving us, but we're not going to go in that direction. They still view them as competition. As long as Microsoft is making an Xbox hardware, they will be considered competition to Sony. Just bank on that. They're never going to change that.
Right.
The moment they stop, you will see a Game Pass, a much different neutered Game Pass, because they didn't want a lot of those games that are sold in their PSN store to get undercut by it. But like a neutered Game Pass that looks like EA Play, where it's just the first party games that Microsoft has. Probably not all of them, because they probably don't want to lose that Call of Duty money either. You will see a much neutered version of that on PlayStation when there's no more Xbox hardware being sold. But only then. That's just how they roll, man. So, yeah. How many Fortnite skins did SloMo buy on PlayStation for them to get that number? I have 0. 'Cause I buy all my Fortnite skins on Epic Game Store. Man. So anyway, go ahead. What were you about to say? Go ahead.
No, I was just listening to what you said. That's funny. I buy all my skins on Epic Game Store.
Yep. And the amount of skins, I plead the fifth. Y'all need to know. Let's get up out of here, man. It's almost 1 in the morning. Forte, let the fine people know where they can find you, what you got going on for the rest of the week.
Oh man, working.
Oh, the next week.
Yeah, working, inventory, working on some other stuff, having fun. Iron Lords podcast tomorrow, so it's gonna be a busy week, and then some other stuff I'll talk to SloMo about on the back end. But outside of that, it's gonna be another one of those weeks. We'll see you guys bright and early. Well, bright, a little late. It's still bright outside. You know what? It's still daylight outside at 9:00 right now. I walked out when I was driving home. I was like, man, it's 9:00 and it's still light outside. I said, this is freaking great. This is great.
Summertime, man.
Summertime. Well, technically, it's not even summer yet till July 21st. So it's still spring, which is weird. But yeah, it's gonna be great. Can't wait to have the show next week. Be on the lookout for that, and enjoy the games that you're playing, and have a great summer, or summer. Have a great start to your out of school season, because if you're a parent, your kids are at home with you a lot more. And if you're a college student, you just either graduated or you're starting your next year in preparation of the next time that you're going to go back to school. So enjoy the little time that you have off before you make any decisions. And other than that, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next time.
Yep. And for myself, I apologize. Like, this past week has been rough for me with work, family, house stuff. Like, when you're a homeowner, it always seems like you fix something, you pay for something to get fixed, something else breaks. It's just like you're playing whack-a-mole. And it's just been that kind of week. I'm a little exhausted, but I'm trying to get my sea legs back under me. So I'm sorry for no streams. I know, I think someone I can't remember who it was. Someone asked me, where did the streams go? And I apologize, because I intended on streaming more, and I got into a nice little cadence, but stuff happened. So I'm gonna get back into the swing of things. Give me a couple of days, but definitely I'll have either another Borderlands stream, or maybe another Division stream, or maybe I'll stream some of these other games I'm playing. Maybe I'll stream the Altars. Who knows? We'll see. But I'll stream something before the next show, which will be Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as usual. Appreciate you guys. Very live chat tonight. It's been fun. It was good. It's good time. Appreciate everyone that came through. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Happy Father's Day for all the fathers out there.
Happy Father's Day.
As a father, I know we are super unappreciated, that no one ever says thank you, that people act like you're not that important. You are. Your importance to your children can never be understated and never replaced by anything else. So I hope you understand that, and you know that you are appreciated, if not by your own family or other people recognizing what you do as a father, but by other fathers like myself. So all that said, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.
Hello. Just finished.